comments? Join us live right here on the Fear Fishing Experiment. Join us live right here on the FearFishing Experiment.
Tonight on the FearFishing Experiment. Hey, did you hear the news? We got Brandon Palaniuk from the BassMaster Elite series on the show tonight. We added to the FearFishing family. Chris and Corey joined Team Daiwa. This and so much more coming up next on the FearFishing Experiment.
Report suspicious activities and call 911 for immediate response. Expect delays, searches of personal property, and restricted access to public buildings. Expect traffic delays and restrictions.
Oh, jumping. That's a football man on a smallmouth bass.
Hold that up. Jump! Oh my gosh, that's a big fish.
You know what? It turned out into like cinematic genius. So it's just beautiful.
The idea is just keep rolling.
Navigating your way on and off the water. Now, here's your host, Ian West.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ian West. Welcome to the FearFishing Experiment number 98.
Oh wow! Eh?
Wow, GTs aren't as big as I remember they were. I got that thing out this morning and everything was looking good till I tried to climb these big legs on there and I realized that I could have drove her from the back seat. Woody, do you still have your two-man?
No.
No?
Long
You had
gone.
a two-man?
He had the giant one. What was it, like the official?
I think it was called GT Snow Racer Adult version.
It was black and red.
Yeah.
It had like instead of a round steering wheel, it was like a Jedi kind of deal. And
Fighter jet.
it was cool. And it was fast.
We used to have a rocking good time on those things when we were kids.
Oh.
Our dads would all get drunk and tow us around on the snow machines, all
Yep.
tied
I
together.
Yeah.
never had a
Yep.
GT.
Really?
No, because they were like, I was getting to that age when they came out. I was like probably 15, 16.
Oh.
I mean, like
That
I
was
was
the
a
best
kid.
time. I was in high school. And
If you were
lost half
that
my
old, I was
face.
crazy
5.
carpets.
Yeah.
Crazy carpets.
Yeah,
I knew a
they
girl
were.
that chopped her finger off from a crazy carpet.
Nice.
How crazy is that?
Wow.
It's carpet
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Ian West. Welcome to the show. We got a big show again tonight. 2020 has been well to us.
It has been.
It has been. Introduce yourselves, folks.
My name's Mark from beautiful Bowmanville.
Bowmanville.
And I'm Amber from Port Hope.
Coburg. You're not from Port Hope. We
I
go
live
over
in,
this.
I
at
live
least.
in Port Hope now.
You used to live in Coburg.
Yeah.
You're not a true Port Hopian.
I grew up in the middle of Port Hope and Coburg.
No, that's not
I
true.
did. I did.
That's-
You're from the in-between.
I am.
No, you're way closer to Coburg than Port Hope.
Whatever, dude.
The suburbs.
That's it. And I'm Sean Doubles McCall.
Yes, you are.
What up? I'm Woody from Baltimore.
Ontario.
Actually, you're from Port Hope, aren't
Cavan
you?
Street.
Yeah.
Bewdley?
Yeah, I was in Bewdley for a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I moved
Yeah.
to Port Hope.
Yeah.
And do you want the whole history? Then
Yeah.
I moved to Toronto.
Okay.
Then I moved to Oshawa. Then I
Uh-huh.
moved to Whitby. And now I live in Baltimore.
When did you move to Dubai?
TBD.
To be determined. We got an exciting show. The big news of the week up here in snowy Canada.
Yeah.
Huge news.
Chris and Corey joined the Daiwa team.
Whoop, whoop.
They come aboard the crazy ship that this is. Exciting. Did you guys see it coming?
Well,
I think it was.
we kind of knew it was coming.
I think
we-
it was the best unkept secret. On
Yeah,
the
it was.
planet
You know what?
for a few weeks.
If you go back, Corey made a post and tagged Daiwa in it, and nobody caught on. In
Yes.
fact, I didn't catch on, and somebody had to send it to me and be like, "What's this?"
And that was like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people knew, and not a lot of people wanted to say anything. They wanted to wait,
Yeah.
right? Like we knew when they were here on the show. We had
Yeah.
them sign a Daiwa reel, and that's what Brad maybe won.
So here's the best part. Tell them the story. They sent the wrong reel to Brad.
Yeah, well, the guy in the shipping up in at Greywood there made a mistake, and he put he was sending out 2 packages that day, and he put the wrong address on the one, and obviously a wrong address on the other one. And Kyle called us last night. He said, "Hey guys, we made a mistake.
Brad got the wrong reel.
Yeah, we sent him the wrong reel." I'm like, "Oh no, now what are we gonna do?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." He's like, "He gets to keep that reel,
That's sweet.
He's like, I'm going to get another reel and get the boys to sign it, and we'll ship them that one too.
The ship too.
So we got 2 reels.
He got 2 reels. He did real well.
I messaged Brad right away, and I told him what happened, and Brad's like, seriously, he's like, I get to keep this reel? And I'm like, yeah, man. They said you get to keep the reel. He's like, you guys just made me a Daiwa guy for life.
Oh,
that's awesome.
nice.
Yeah, he was happy.
That's awesome. So the big news tonight, we got Mr. Brandon Palaniuk coming on.
Yeah, we do.
And Tiff.
And Tiff.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
But we also have another
Daiwa
reel.
guy.
Yeah, another Daiwa guy. We're going to ask Brandon some questions about Daiwa, but we got another reel to give away.
Yes, we do.
So before the end of the show, you're going to want to stay tuned. We have a great trivia question.
Yeah, we do.
And we're going to give another CZ80.
Yeah, the CC80. It's a baitcaster. You're going to have your choice of left or right-handed.
Yeah.
Right, and you're going to have to send that on your information. But you're going to have to dig for this information.
Yes. We have a real true to the bone question tonight that involves Brandon's YouTube channel. So stay tuned. At the when we're done talking to Brandon, before the break, we're going to announce what the question is, and we will give you guys some time to search. It's going to be good. I love giving stuff away. Sean's the man. Sean calls Daiwa 5 minutes before we go live, and he's like, hey, what do we have to give away?
So big shout out to Daiwa Canada for
Daiwa
putting
Canada
that
for
prize
hooking
out.
us up.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great with
guys.
sports. You guys are beauties.
Like we said, best company in the world to be part of.
It
They
is.
give us a lot of good support.
Yeah.
They do,
They do,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever told us no. They've told me to get out of the building, but they've never said no.
You need to go.
Yeah, we've actually had that. So another thing, we haven't even got to talk about FearFishing in 2020 yet. We're going to have to do that in the second half of the show. Last time we did this, it was just an absolute marathon, crazy chat with Chris and Corey. But we have a ton of things to talk about. We're going to get to questions, comments, bring them in. If you're watching on Facebook and you're not on the official live feed, make sure you get over there so we can see your questions, comments. Hit that share button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys excited?
Oh, yeah.
Very.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you want to, should we tell the story before we bring Brandon on about how I met Brandon?
Sure.
You want to tell it?
No. You
Why?
Tell it. You tell it.
So we were at the Bassmaster Classic and
The Ike after.
the Ike after party,
Last year.
This was
last year.
Yeah.
right?
Rick
Amber
Easton
comes
and I.
running up to me, and I've ordered 2 beers. Remember how crazy it was to try to get a drink out of
It
that
was
place?
crazy. I was sitting at the bar with Chris Grow, and I was like, dude, I'm like, this is nuts. He's like, yeah, this is crazy. I'm like, you're drinking beer, I'm drinking whiskey. I'm like, give me 12 beer
Yeah.
and 12 whiskey.
Chris Grohl gave me a 6-pack after this.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm at the counter with 2 gentlemen from Arkansas, and I ordered my 2 beers, and they were trying to get them to me. Amber comes running over, and she's like, you have to come outside right now. And I was like, I'm not leaving without my beer. As a good Canadian boy. And she's like, no, you have to come now. Gerald Swindle's out there waiting for you. And I said, I need to have my beer. Gerald will wait. So I finally get my beers. And Amber's like, you have to come right now. And I give my beers to Marley because he's the only man I could trust with my beer. Because he was so hungover, he wasn't going to drink them. And I go outside, and Brandon and Tiffany are out there waiting. And I always talk to Brandon, but I met Brandon face to face, and he's like, what took you so long? And I was like, she told me Gerald was out here. And he's like, oh, I understand.
Gerald would be my drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gerald.
When we met Gerald, what was it, a year before?
He gave us his passes.
Yeah, he gave us
He
front
gave
row.
me
Yeah.
Lulu. Yeah.
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 Gave us
They're
front
super
row
great
passes.
people. Gerald and Lulu. Did you guys see that video I shared on the live well?
Yeah.
chicken one?
Where
The
he
chicken
met,
one?
Met
Yeah,
the
yeah.
older lady.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
The line.
He's a super
Grandma's
great
chicken.
dude.
And she gave him the angel wings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Amazing.
On fishing
Super.
string.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meant to
It's
be.
like meant to be.
Yeah.
It's amazing how little things can touch people so much. Brandon is great at this. We're gonna have Brandon talk more about this. But what do we want to do this?
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully he answers us. Wouldn't
I
that be a
really-
bummer if Brandon was like, no, man.
I really like his vlogs. They're super relatable.
They are
Very
super
cool.
relatable.
And entertaining.
They are, and the chemistry between Brandon, Tiff, and Kyle. Kyle is who does the filming for Brandon.
Yeah.
Is legendary. You just said you were watching a whole bunch the last couple of
Yeah, I
days.
did. Yeah. It was pretty good.
It is.
I liked it.
It is.
I'll
and
tell you
very
something.
entertaining.
That man eats a lot of eggs.
He does he?
That's one thing I see in like every vlog is him
I just
frying
saw
up some eggs.
his snack cupboard.
Yeah, snack cupboard's
Yeah.
pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
Healthy snacks.
I'm an egg man every day.
Yeah.
2 a.m.
You ready to run the bio?
Yes, sir.
Hit it. Brandon Palaniuk grew up in rural Idaho where he cut his teeth as a multi-species angler. In 2011, he jumped onto the BassMaster Elite Series with his 2017 AOY win. 2019, he fished the BPT, but he's back to bass, traveling the country with his girlfriend Tiffany. Brandon is an outdoorsman, an entrepreneur, world traveler, and all-around great guy. That's the bio. Tiffany, Brandon, welcome to the show.
What is going on?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What part of the United States are you in right now?
We're in Florida.
Florida? Living the life. How warm is it there?
You don't even want to know.
No, probably
we
not.
Don't.
Are you still in the same place you stayed when you fished Harris Chain?
No, we moved today, so we changed campgrounds. Got a little bit closer up to our next elite event, so we're hanging out here today. Cold front actually blew through and it was like 65 degrees, so still flip-flop weather, but
Poor you.
a little rougher.
I would take 65 degree
I wore
weather.
flip-flops to the hot tub last
Not
night
quite.
and they froze.
Not quite short.
You
shorts
lose a
weather.
toe if you wear flip-flops out here right now.
Yeah, I have. We have a brand new puppy that we're going to talk about later on, but I've been taking her out to pee in the flip-flops.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
it's
so
not
well.
cool.
No.
Tiffany, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good, thank you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Tiff.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so there's a lot going on with you guys, Brandon and Tiffany. You guys travel together across the states. You've been fishing the Elite Series since 2011. You made a stop at MLF, and now we're back to the Elite Series. What's life on the road like for a young couple?
I guess I'll start off with this one. Like, who wants to talk about this one?
We all
for
do.
us, it's pretty awesome. Because we get to live in the RV,
Yeah.
which is amazing, right? We don't go home very often since we're from Idaho. So, like this trip, we're gone for 2 months. We'll go home for roughly 3 weeks to a month, and then we'll be gone for 6 months.
Wow.
So, it's having the RV creates a different level of like consistency for us that allows you to compete at the highest level. I think, you're not going from hotel to hotel. You get that kind of more of a home feel to it. And I get a freezer packed full of elk meat.
Yeah, I seen that.
Enjoy life on the road. We got the dogs. You can even check out the dogs right now.
Let's see them.
You can see Bella's down there.
Aw.
And then look, we have a special guest.
Yeah,
We
I
got
saw that.
We got Carl's dog. We got Rue the bass dog with us.
I saw. So Carl's gone back to Australia, and you guys are babysitting, dog sitting.
Yeah, he's going to Australia for for a wedding.
That's
His
awesome.
best man.
Isn't there a big
He's got-
fire going down in Australia
Yeah, there
right
is.
now?
Yeah.
Like half the country.
Carl's doing a whole bunch to raise money for the Australia fires.
That's awesome.
I just gave him a worn signed game jersey from the 2019 Classic, and then gave him a signed Arashi glide bait too.
Awesome.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
So, life in on the road. When you guys leave Idaho, are you bringing all your fishing stuff, or when you make that 3 weeks back home, are you bringing more and loading back up?
This year I pretty much packed everything right away. Just kind of organized. I mean, every year I do, but this year was like kind of the first year that we knew we were going to go home after a couple months. Usually we don't go home for about 7 or 8 months.
Wow.
So even this year, just like out of habit, I kind of just packed everything.
Everything?
And had some sponsored changes, so I just kind of loaded up on everything.
Yeah, but what did you forget? You must have forgotten.
That's a good question.
The coffee maker on.
It's like a growing list of things that we forgot. We're like, oh, where's the charger for this? Like, little things like I can't find the charger for my beard trimmer. Little things like that.
That's
You
terrible.
don't need that.
Yeah, you don't.
Just go. Let her rip. Now, on the other hand, Tiffany, how do you get prepared for this?
So I basically, he handles all like fishing, tackle, and stuff like that. But I pack the fifth wheel, and we actually this year thought we were going to get a new one. So I ended up having to pack in like 2 days.
Oh.
Our wheel was deep cleaned, empty, ready to sell, and yeah, we had to pack it in 2 days. Which when I unpacked it, luckily we kept most of it together. So we kind of like shoved it in, put it away, and we're like, we'll deal with this when we get to Florida.
This sounds a whole lot like our life. How much notice did Brandon give you that you were on the show tonight?
Oh no, I like you when you did your pre-call. Like, I had no idea he was even doing this call. So.
That's our life too, eh?
Yeah, it is
hey,
our
Amber,
life.
by the way, we got to do this in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I need way more time.
Now, what are you doing when Brandon's on the water, Tiffany? Like you're away from home. You've got to keep yourself busy, and Brandon's busy schedule. What are you up to?
Correct. So I take care of the dog. I do some stuff for myself, like working out and my own skincare business. And then I do bookkeeping for Brandon's fishing business and try to handle as much on like the financial side as possible so he doesn't have to deal with that, like paying bills and, you know, all that jazz. And then I clean, cook, do laundry. I'm like a traveling.
Do you have a sister?
No. 2 brothers. They won't get you.
That might work for you, McCall.
That does not work for me.
You could do it, Sean.
So what I got from that conversation is you're sleeping with your accountant.
And maid. And chef.
Nice.
It's the lunch lady, not the accountant, okay?
Oh, there you go.
Now, you made a big move in, I guess, 2018 to go to the MLF, and now you've decided to come back to Bass. Was there a moment last year on the road where you'd made this decision?
I would say it was like a back burner thought all year. And it wasn't like it was a thought that was there in my mind that I was like constantly thinking about.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was always in the back of my mind because something always felt.
Well, you were one of the last anglers to come out with his decision
really
to leave.
I'm walking the classic stage last year, thinking that might be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of that emotion on the stage. That day. Yeah.
A lot of guys had that, and it wasn't really until after the final event where I could kind of disconnect a little bit, I guess, and spend time out in the mountains where sometimes I get like my best thought processes and the most clarity when I can disconnect and get away. Like get away from people, get away from other people's opinions, and really just think about it. And that was the biggest difference between this year and like what happened last year is I felt like last year I tried to gather as many opinions as possible and create a thought process that was educated and where I would make the best decision from a business standpoint, a fishing standpoint. And what I ended up realizing happened is I lost my own opinion in that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty much doing it based on everyone else's opinions of what they thought. And once I realized that, then I was able to kind of self-reflect and do what we felt was right. And really the only person I talked about it with was Tiff.
Like on the spectators end, it looked like it was kind of like a sudden jump. Like was there a process that you guys knew that this was going to happen, that everybody was going to go over to MLF? Like was there like, or was it just like quick decision? I got to make a decision now.
No, you're talking last year?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a meeting in September about it. So they had like 3 groups of guys that had met in September. And then I don't remember when we announced, like November or something, you know, they gave us a deadline of
October before Japan.
Was it October before Japan? We had like 30 days or something.
Wow. So that's pretty.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty tight for a life-changing decision, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anybody watching at home, like making these choices is on a different level for you guys, and it like. It's not like us back here choosing a tournament series. This really affects sponsorship dollars, you and Tiffany, travel time. There's way more to consider making that decision than what the average tournament guy would make.
Yeah, it wasn't like you just switched like clubs and went to the other side of town.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's more riding on this, and you know, I remember when this came out, and I would have made the same decision if all my friends were going somewhere.
Well, the whole MLF movement, I think it was all the anglers banding together to try to get treated better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And try to have more say in what they fished for, their money. And like, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big portion of it, right? I was trying to bring a different look to the sport and, create something different, angler driven. And where I struggled with it is that I didn't really have any problems. So when I walked away, I looked back at it trying to figure out why I left.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of walking away for everyone else's opinions, I really didn't have anything to complain about. Obviously there were things that I thought bass could do better. There's still things I think they could do better. But in the end game, that's where I felt like we needed to be. That's where I had spent my entire life. I use this number frequently now, 72% of my life, chasing the highest level of bass.
Well, you started out way down in the pits of it all, sleeping in the back of your truck, chasing around tournaments, no?
Yeah, I started out in the down dirty dumpsters of the bass fishing world.
You came up through the nation, correct?
I did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm big in the hats.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're huge supporters. So we ran an Ontario Bass Nation fundraiser and raised almost, $84.66 in 4 hours that we donated. $8,466 that we donated to the Ontario Bass Nation.
Not bad.
Yeah. We're huge supporters of Ontario Bass Nation.
Yes, we are.
When Brandon made his decision, I tried everything in the world over the next year to convince Brandon to come back to Bass.
Yeah, you did.
Via text message. Everything. We what was the moment? Is it like leading up to the decision and making the decision? Was there like a defining moment where it all came together and the clarity came? And the second part of my question, did you talk to G about this? Was this a Brandon, when you decided you were coming and you're negotiating, were you and Gerald talking at that point?
Okay, so I'll answer the first part.
Yep.
There was not like a single moment. There were moments throughout the year of different things that happened that like kind of compounded to lead to that decision. And that's on both sides, really, not just one-sided. And so there wasn't like a moment. And when I started to even think seriously about it, that was like a 2-month process of me reflecting and figuring out why that was even a thing, right? Like why, because I had a good thing going at the Bass Pro Tour. It wasn't like I had a terrible year or anything. I caught them just fine, had a bunch of good finishes, top 10s. Felt good about it. I wasn't paying entry fees. So I'm looking at it going, why is there still part of me pulling me back to want to go back and spend 43 grand on entry fees and go back to where I was? And it wasn't a quick process. It took a long time for me to really dig down and think of why that was. And then once I got it figured out and finally made that decision, then it happened super quick. And I, through that process of reflecting on that, trying to figure out the reasons why, I realized that I had too many other people's opinions from the year before. And so I didn't talk to Gerald about it. Like I knew that Gerald had been unhappy. I think most people knew. And people probably knew that I was unhappy, but I was vocal about it, right? Like I would stand up at meetings and say things that I wasn't happy about. But I think the thing for me is that I had to do it based off of my own reasoning. And then once everything was finalized and signed and all the legal paperwork stuff was done, then we all got together, Bass, MLF, me, G, and said, okay, this is how we're going to present this. Because I wanted it to come out, all the truth be out there, and then be done.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to linger out there and be like rumors start spreading around or get it to spread out, right? Like, I wanted it to be like, okay, it's signed, it's finalized, it comes out tomorrow, we're done. Like, that way nobody could get a hold of it and start, trying to spread stuff.
Yeah.
Fast and furious.
Yeah.
Now, about a little over a month ago, you guys went down to Alabama for the Elite Series meetings. How did the anglers welcome you and G back?
Really good.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a lot of really good conversations. And I think that comes a lot from the fact that I just never had anything bad to say throughout the entire year. I never said anything like negative towards bass or any of the anglers there. And I came into it understanding that there was probably going to be some hard feelings from some guys, especially the guys that had already previously been on the Elites for a long time. It became personal for a lot of those guys. So I understood that and came into it kind of with a mindset of, potentially having to re-earn the respect from those guys.
This year, when you go to the Classic and you don't get to fish it, you fished the last 9, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be hard on you?
I don't think is she shaking her head? Yes, I wasn't even looking. Yeah. She's over there smiling. For a while, it really bothered me. I think I'm to a point now that I'm going to take advantage of it, because I hope this is the only time that I'm able to spend 3 days with all the fans.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
I love hanging out with the fans and all that. But it doesn't mean I ever want to do it again, just purely based on the fact that I want Classic.
Not on Classic weekend.
I got a picture with Brandon's Angler of the Year trophy, me and Moose.
Really?
Yeah. It was at the
as-
Yamaha setup there.
That's funny.
Yep.
I got a picture
So
with
for me,
Brandon.
it's like, just take advantage of it, right? It's like a situation that I don't plan on finding myself in very often, and I just want to make the most of it. So I'll actually start doing Classic work on Monday, the week before the Classic, working with sponsors and stuff on that. So taking advantage of the situation.
That rolls us right into our next topic. Not only are you a tournament angler, you're an entrepreneur and a businessman. And I think that there's a lot of young people up here in Canada listening right now. Fill us in on the entrepreneurship and how you're targeting sponsors now. You got your fingers dabbled in everything. I send you a text message at least once a week being like, Brandon, what's up with this? Brandon, what's up with this?
Yeah, you do. That's not a lie. He does text me often, asking about several things. Sometimes I tell him, sometimes I'm like, just hold on.
Yeah, I do get that text message. Yeah.
There's more to come. So for me, it's a mixture of having like companies that either I have ownership in, like Anglerade, Alpha Angler, and where I can build those up. But at the core base of all of it is the people and the products. So those two things are the most important to me. And then the financial side of it and all that comes later. But the people that I work with and the products that they have overcome that. I think Tiff can even vouch for me on that one, that I will walk away from a deal that is twice as much money if I believe in the people and the product more so somewhere else. I've done that, and I feel like it always pays more dividends in the end. And the biggest thing is it's way less stressful, right? Like, I don't want to ever feel like I'm selling anybody anything. I want to just be promoting and telling people what I believe in. So
That's funny, because I've heard the same thing out of your mouth a million times.
Yeah. We've had some lengthy discussions here, and it is a lot easier to work with companies where you really like the people versus quick paydays that you don't feel so good about.
Yeah, 100%. And that's ultimately what it is. And I think what people lose sight of is that, like, I get to fish for a living. That should be fun. That shouldn't be
yeah. We have this talk here all and we do we have the same conversation, and sometimes we stop everything to be like, this is getting too serious. This should only be fun. If we're not having fun doing this, we need to just stop.
Yep.
Right?
100% agree. And then it's funny to see the transition of like how contracts are written. I would say 5 years ago, there was never a single word about any social media or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, you see a lot more in contracts, like so many social posts or inclusions and different things that come with that. I would say majority of my sponsors pretty much give me freedom on that of like, hey, just keep posting, include us where it makes sense. And I think the big thing is like quality content.
Yep.
You understand this, right? Like content that is not just you post something and then you tag every single sponsor, because that doesn't do anybody any good.
No, yeah, for sure. That is like young people learning to play that social media game, and you were really the champion of this in fishing. The YouTube channel, showing life on the road, being honest, showing the interactions.
It's really authentic
between you, Tiffany, and Kyle, right? Like it's very authentic. Where did I think you were the first one to film tournaments on the road at like that level. Where did the idea to do this come from?
I had it. Oh, it came from my brain.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a Forrest Gump quote.
Yeah. There's a lot of wheels up here that turn often. And I actually had that idea for a long time. And I think some of it just came and stemmed from like my passion of creating content. Cause I had done that for a long time, like just creating videos and editing and stuff. And I enjoyed that. But I knew that there was a deeper level that I wanted to be able to do that at, and like a more of a quality content stuff. And I knew that I couldn't do that on my own. Like me and Tiff couldn't just do that because we're too busy doing other things that I can't also film myself during an event and show everything that I want to be able to show.
We talked a lot in private about telling stories, like the important part of telling a story.
Yeah.
And capturing the story.
That's right. And you've done a great job capturing, what it's really like on tour. Like you can tell in some of your videos when you're not happy. And then you can tell at the next event that, you guys are getting along quite a bit better.
Yeah. My thing is I want to capture the moments.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to have to create a moment. And so I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing, or before I do and go, oh, wait, let me grab the camera. Let me talk to it real quick as I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. I want to just do what I would naturally do and have the camera there capturing those things. I think that's where that authenticity comes from.
One take.
Yeah. We've never retook anything.
No,
we don't.
Even when I mess up, we just let her roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah, totally.
You
totally.
That smell
somebody
know,
accused
oh
me
God.
one time of using B footage twice, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I've never recorded anything twice.
It's
and
all
everything's
B footage.
everything's in chronological order.
That's it.
Right? I'm not smart enough to get away with that.
No.
Let alone just go find it again.
Yeah, totally.
That's exactly it. He doesn't store all that.
Nothing. I
Nothing
delete everything so that I'm forced to recreate content. I just
What do
delete
you
it.
do if someone comes back and says, hey, do you have that clip that we can use?
And then people get mad at me. Hey, Woody?
Yeah, find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get mad, and I got to go figure it out. That keeps
Yeah.
me unlazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How did Kyle's your cameraman?
Yeah.
Great dude. How did you hook that partnership up?
We actually went to high school together.
No way.
Yeah. He graduated with my sister. We played football together. And, like, we hung out with the same group of friends in high school. Because I didn't go to, like, a real big high school. But we weren't super close. It wasn't like we hung out all the time in high school. But it's funny how, like, after you graduate, people change a lot. And, like, you end up finding yourself liking the same things as people that you wouldn't even think about hanging out with in high school.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were always friends, but we're, like, way closer now than we would have been. And it all came from the guy that had filmed for me the first year. Like, 2 weeks before the first event, he let me know that he wasn't coming.
Oh.
And I went into straight panic mode. That was probably one moment where Tiff had seen me not so super pumped and slightly freaked out because I had just sold sponsorship to go RVing for this.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks before the event, find out I don't have a camera guy. I have all the equipment, but I don't have a dude to film it. And Tiff and I had showed Tiff some videos that Kyle had shot that were wedding videos.
Yeah.
From some of our friends. And Tiff's like, well, what about that guy that you showed me that he shot those wedding videos? I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna want to do it. Like, and I just reached out and I was like, hey man, I don't know if you're interested. I need a guy, come on the road, live in the camper with us. And he's like, yeah, perfect. Living in my van. I'm all for it.
Wow. That's an upgrade.
I don't even know if he asked his girlfriend, bless her heart, beforehand. But like me and Kyle are very similar in a lot of those ways of like just jumping on opportunities like that. And it's been really cool to hang out in this environment and take a guy that literally had never been in a bass boat, and I just threw him in a camera boat at Lake Martin, where it's like freezing cold. He doesn't even know how to dress. Bass boat, right? Like,
suit.
Yeah, he doesn't have like nothing. So I'm like giving him some clothes, like, hey, you might want to put a little bit more clothes on. He froze at the first event. I mean, it was really cold. And like fast forward to now, and he is nearly just as addicted to it as I am.
You can tell. I follow Kyle on Instagram, and you can tell that he's right into this now.
Oh yeah, he's all about it. He's fully on board. Like, I mean, and he wants to help grow it, right? Like he wants to create more content. So he went and found a young kid actually from Idaho again that's gonna help us out. Doesn't know anything about fishing, but he's gonna hopefully help cut some selects, cut some edits, and I kind of like that, getting someone that doesn't know the fishing side, because you get a different perspective.
Now, we just talked about how you and Kyle met. How did you and Tiffany meet?
This is my favorite one.
Whose story do you want?
This is my favorite one.
We want both of them. We got nothing but time here at Fear Fishing.
I'm going first. I picked her up. I did. I picked her up on the dock.
No way.
What? No way.
Swear. That is the God honest truth.
True.
It's kind of true.
100% true. 100% true. I drove up to the boat ramp. Here comes this smoking hot blonde walking down the dock. She hops right in my boat. I don't even know if I had to say anything.
Get out.
No way.
She just hopped in, saw the wrap boat, jumped. Might have been 2 or 3 feet away. Okay, the last part might have been.
She leaped into your boat.
What was she wearing?
I'll let her tell the real truth. But I mean, that's what I said is 100% the truth.
It is true. He's leaving out fine details.
Okay, let's hear it, Tiffany. Tiffany, tell us the truth.
It's not like I was just laying on the dock, like waiting for a professional bass fisherman to pick me up. So
yeah, because there's lots of those in Idaho.
Yeah. It existed when I met him, to be completely honest. Like, I didn't know it was a thing. But we met, our mutual friend was fishing with him, and he invited me out on the boat. And growing up, we trolled for kokanee.
Yep.
My parents and I did. And in my teenage years, I got like bratty, and apparently I thought I had other places to be. And so I had this thing in my head that I hated fishing, which, I mean, clearly it's not true now, but So at first I was like, this is karma, but I was like, yeah, I'll come out on the boat and go fishing. And so I waited. Like, I went and worked out for the first time all summer so that I didn't have to be there for like too long on the boat. And then as soon as we got there, they got hungry, and then they took me to dinner out on the lake. So yes, he picked me up on the dock.
Love at first sight. Love at first sight. Like, was there magic in the air that day?
I feel like there was magic in the air, but we weren't sure. We weren't looking for anything, and we weren't sure what was happening. So he invited me to this little cabin party where like 50 people were gonna be, and there were only 5 people.
You guys included?
Well played. Oh yeah.
And there was only boat access, so I couldn't even drive there by myself.
Jeez, well played.
Well played.
Yeah.
See, when Brandon was telling me his story, I all I could picture is like the boat there, and you just like skipping your way down the dock. What's up,
Like
Mr. BP?
Baywatch style
yeah.
down the dock.
In the
Right.
middle of Idaho. So both being from Idaho,
Yeah.
what's your and I know
Exactly.
you're
That's what happened. And ironically, I just thought of this when she was talking. The guy I was fishing with, he's actually fishing the Classic this year because he finished second at the Nationals and for the Federation.
Oh, sweet.
That's awesome.
He's gonna be there.
What's his
fishing the
name?
Classic, and I'm gonna be watching.
Shout it
Cheering
out.
him
Do you
on.
know his name?
What's his
Can we
name?
give him a shout out?
Of course I know his name.
Yeah.
Taylor Smith.
Taylor Smith.
Taylor Smith.
So Tiffany was supposed to go home with Taylor Swift, but you
Taylor Smith.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, Taylor Swift. Yeah, I was out fishing with Taylor Swift. She was singing me some songs. Said, "Hey, I got this friend."
Sean, you got questions?
Yeah.
I see your notepad going crazy.
Yeah. I got some questions.
Throw them out there.
I got a pretty serious question actually, and I haven't heard Brandon talk about this at all really too much. There was a post from Flesher Shiderock. I know you know where I'm going with this. He posted this back in November, and his post simply said, "I'd much rather run with a pack of wolves than lead a herd of sheep." Now this is right back when just after you made your decision to go back to bass.
Yep.
How did you interpret this post?
Well, at first, I didn't even know it was a thing. So I honestly had no idea that it was out there until I got these raging texts from all of my buddies all over the place.
I sent one.
This guy, I'm like, what is going on? Oh, excuse me. And like my phone starts blowing up, Tiff's phone starts blowing up. And I kind of just like laughed it off. Like that kind of stuff usually doesn't rattle me. Like I don't get pissed at people. I look at that kind of stuff and I'm like, that's a decision that he made that he felt he needed to post about.
Like
he's
a proclaimed friend of yours. That's what he says.
Yeah,
you guys are
we
buddies.
fished a bunch together, and like I had no hard feelings against him, and so I'm like, without knowing the facts, I'm probably a little bit like I don't just jump to assume things, but it was pretty obvious like where it was directed, and it was never said that it wasn't directed towards that. So I'm assuming at this point that it was.
So him being your buddy didn't bother picking up the phone and calling you and saying, "Hey, I don't like the decision you made."
No.
You guys, we all made a decision for 3 years here. You guys are going to jump ship in a year. And this is how I feel. He never gave you that respect.
No, I still haven't talked to him since.
Really?
Like I haven't, no text messages, no phone calls, nothing. But I haven't reached out to him either. I haven't felt the need to. I don't really feel like he has the desire to talk to me. If he does, he can call me or text me. And I would talk to him. Like it didn't make me that mad, but I had buddies like sending me his stats and like all kinds of stuff. Like, and I kind of just laughed it off. And
well, I feel that he made a lot of enemies that day because he called the entire field of BASS a herd of sheep.
Including his brother.
For me,
and his brother's actually fishing at BASS. So I imagine him and his brother will be rolling around in the backyard pretty soon.
I don't know how everything went down. To me, it's like those things are like people have different perspectives. They have different things going on in their lives. And part of me like just doesn't understand it, but then I do understand it, right? Like I just don't get the point of making a post like that unless you have some insecurities about what you're doing yourself. And so I just look at it and I'm like, you feel the need to post that? You can post it. But I was such at peace with the decision that I had made that something like that was not going to rattle me at all. And that's probably the best way to put it, is that I just felt like people were like, they were more concerned about their situation than actually the decisions that we made, that they would lash out and say stuff, right? Out of like, whether it was insecurities or things that they have going on, right? Like they weren't comfortable in the situations, or they were pissed and say things, whatever.
That's a great answer. I love that. It's like water off a duck's back.
I want to throw you on the spot.
I have way bigger fish to fry than worrying about something like that. And in all honesty, I was like, I'm not even going to read the comments. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, there was like almost 600 comments, I think.
Yeah, I know. And I wasn't going to read them. And then I was sitting on the toilet bored, and I started and next thing you know, my legs fell asleep, and I was like, okay, I should probably quit reading comments.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah. I'm going to throw you on the spot right here. The last show we asked Chris Johnson if he would wrestle you. He said no. If Fletcher and Hunter got in a fight, who would you pick to win?
Ooh.
This will be all over the internet in the morning.
Probably. I would probably pick Hunter.
Yeah?
I feel like he's a little bit more scrappy.
Yeah? A little dig in the corners, kind of, yeah?
I got another question. At your last at your last BASS meeting there, Chris Johnson and Lee Livesey had a little get it on there. Did you witness?
Was it Chris or Corey?
No, it was Chris. Corey made the bet that even my brother could kick your ass. And Chris and Lee, they pushed back all the chairs, and they did her. Did you witness that?
No.
I'm
kind of bummed I missed that, but I don't know that Lee is a dude that I would want to go up against either. He's a
big boy.
Yeah.
I was at the same show as him this weekend. like, dude's.
He's a big old Texan.
Chris didn't really want to do it, but Corey seemed pretty confident that Lee wasn't even anywhere in his weight class.
That's a nice brother.
Yeah.
Sure. You couldn't touch my brother. Fight my brother. You can't touch him.
You got more, Sean?
Must be a Canadian.
Yeah.
Party foul.
Well, with you coming back, with you leaving the MLF, and with you coming back to Bass, now we all know that you were in a contract. We heard that it was the biggest fine anybody in professional fishing had to pay. Can you confirm or deny that?
I'm going to deny, because Gerald Swindle also had to pay it. So we paid the same amount. So it wasn't single-handedly the largest.
So both of you paid the largest fines that any professional anglers had to pay ever in the history of professional fishing.
Yep, it was. And I think before I even started, I vouched to myself that I would not make decisions based off of financial gain or financial decisions, right? Like I would make them for the right reasons and not just purely off of finances.
You cannot put a price on happiness.
Yeah, and as cliche as that sounds, it's very true, right? And that goes back to the people and the products that we talked about before.
Anybody who's seen your AOY acceptance speech, you're not one of these bursary babies either who's got been given millions of dollars to bass fish. Like you really have a rags to riches story based on this formula.
Yeah, and I was very fortunate that through my life, I had the right people come into my life at the right times. And that's stuff that you can't explain. It just happens, right? Like my mom got married, or my mom's best friend got married to the guy that got me started tournament fishing. And he just happened to be one of the best sticks in the Northwest. And so I randomly had different people come into my life that, I was able to learn from, grow from, and I felt fortunate to come from the situation that I did, because I don't know who I would be without that.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Good words.
I got a question here from Facebook. From
Hold on. If you look in that camera right there, he can see you.
Who?
Brandon.
The guy from Facebook?
No, Brandon. I'm just letting you know.
The guy from Facebook. Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Look deep into my eyes.
So I got a question here from Spencer Gaffney on Facebook. He says, "Hey Brandon, I met you at the first ever Waddington event. You ended up crushing them and winning the event. What are some of the things you absolutely love about fishing the St. Lawrence River?"
Oh, first one, the people. That is number one. Like, that is some of the most welcoming people of anywhere we go, right? Like, where you roll into town and literally feel like the entire town wants you there. Everybody. And that makes a big difference in our experience when we're there. And then the other thing is just, I love the area, like how clean it is. And then obviously the fishing, right? It's a massive body of water that I'm able to get away from people. Clear water, smallmouth, and I can go do my own thing and not feel like I'm fishing on top of people.
That's a good answer.
Great answer.
I like the St. Lawrence too.
Yeah, and I will see you there this year.
Yeah, we're
sorry
going.
I missed it last year. It hurt.
Yeah,
Hurt
we
real bad.
were going to go down there last year. We ended up doing something else. We had big plans.
I don't remember what we did.
Tiffany, when he's out on the water, are you watching Bass Tracker? Are you like sneaking, seeing how he's doing, or is it just a surprise of the way in there?
No surprises.
She needs to prepare herself for when he comes home.
Yeah, exactly. That is
Yeah.
so true.
I wish I had Bass Tracker for Ian.
Yeah, I try to have it in the background while I do things, and if like I'm driving, I'll listen to it. If they have the live Bass Live going on, I listen to that. But yeah,
She usually gets a little bit less done on tournament days.
yeah,
probably.
on like especially if he's in like the last 2 days. I like 2017. I don't know what I did because I swear he fished almost
all 4 days.
all 4 days, almost every tournament except for that Florida event, and it was brutal. I think all I did was I was on like BassMaster.com all day, 4 days in a row.
I got a question for you, Tiffany. While the boys are out on the water, are all the wives smack talking each other about their husbands? Like, do you know, like my boyfriend's better than your husband at fishing? Like,
No.
sit down.
Actually, I feel like everyone gets along, and we don't. I mean, like if someone's guy's having a good day, like of course we congratulate them and like we're pumped for them. But other than that, I feel like we don't really talk much about like the guys. Like we kind of finally get time to ourselves to learn more about each other and like make memories with each other. But it is also really hard to get on everyone's same schedule because we're all doing different things. Like we all have different jobs within our like campers or houses or hotels. So it's not like we all get together every single day for like 4 hours or anything like that.
Yeah,
we get together one time a week. We're doing pretty good.
Really? So there's no like Real Housewives of bass fishing show?
I'd watch that. I would totally watch that.
Maybe we can start that.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Really get nothing done.
Can you imagine like somebody on the water cuts somebody off and then it like pans
Cat
to the
fight.
wife just like pulling like, you can't do that to him.
Or the wives getting day drunk. Watching Bass.
We have to back down the trailers.
They gotta drive. They gotta come pick us up.
Oh, that's right.
That looks really bad.
How did
we
you
get arrested on the way?
Yeah, right? How did you learn, or how did you teach yourself, or who taught you how to drive the rigs?
So Brandon, you drive the trailer and truck, and Tiffany, you drive the boat and truck.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
How'd you learn to do that?
Well, I grew up in a family of like that runs heavy equipment and stuff, so I knew the concept of when you pull a trailer, make wider turns and stuff. But Brandon actually taught me how to drive his boat in the middle of like Nashville rush hour, and we're on like this exit, and he's like, "All right, your turn. I'm tired."
Oh.
And I was like, white knuckle, not okay. Don't recommend it. And he was like taking pictures because he thought it was hilarious. But yeah, once he learned that he could work from the computer when we only had one vehicle, that he was like, "Oh, you can drive all day." And I'll just
Right.
But now we both drive. And then backing up the trailer, we learned that it was best if he kept his mouth shut, and I just figured it out on my own. Or else we'd like bicker and fight, and it wasn't good.
It was literally better if I just let her run into something.
No.
I like tried to teach her how to do it.
No, I said to stop me if I was gonna hit something.
And you didn't stop her?
Time.
Do you guys get along when you go fishing together?
Yeah.
Yeah, until she gets cold.
Amber and I have had the biggest domestics of our whole relationship in a bass boat.
Yeah.
Once over, we were in the river, and there was like, so picture like a river with shallow rocks in a tree.
And trees hanging over.
And there's like 4 or 5 pound smallmouth there. And I'm like, just throw a Senko at them.
No, you go first. You get it. It's yours. I'm
and
like,
Amber
what? And we're
throws
on
like
the vlog.
And we're filming. And Amber throws like the biggest panic moment. And she, like, I got mad because I'm trying to explain to her that you can't mess this up.
Oh, I messed it up. I threw it right into the tree.
And I was like, no big deal. I was like, they're going to bite, and then you wanted to change baits, and I was like, you can't change.
No,
baits.
I didn't.
This is
I just
something
didn't
you have
want to go
feel.
first.
You have to feel this, and do you know what I mean? Like fishing's a feeling.
Why don't you guys just do a domestic right now? Because I feel like it's coming.
No,
Yeah.
no, we figured this out.
But like on that day, I think that was the only time in the vlog that it got so heated, and you can tell in the vlog that we're both mad. But I'm like, suck it up, Buttercup. It's time to act. And then I'm like, here's the camera. You guys don't.
Right in the gauntlet.
That's right. Yeah. And then we never caught any of those bass.
No.
And then we didn't talk for 4 hours in the boat.
No. Sure didn't.
I got a question from Facebook here from a buddy of ours, Danny McGarry. He says, Brandon, if you had to pick, would it be harvest a trophy elk or catch a giant bass when it counts?
Ooh.
I would probably have to say catch a giant bass when it counts. If he won it, the big kicker there was when it counts.
Yeah.
If it would have just been like a big bass versus catch or like shooting a giant elk, I probably would have went elk. But when it counts, you never know what that's going to do for the rest of your life.
Now, not too long ago, you had a chance to harvest a nice 6x6, no?
Maybe. I shot one with my bow and lost it earlier this year. But then me and Tiff shot one the last day of season in Montana.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And that was your first like hunting experience, Tiff? Did I read that right?
Kind of ish.
Kind of ish?
So I helped pack out his other one in Montana. What, like 3 years?
2015, she helped me pack one out in Montana, same area.
Wow,
and
that was a long time ago.
then she had been hunting with me before, but never when I had shot something.
Gotcha.
So this time we got to combine both.
Yeah, so I got to see the shot and the pack out.
Nice.
How many
so now
times how many trips did you have to do?
2.
Each?
3 miles in, 3 miles out, 3 miles in, 3 miles out.
How long did it
Yeah.
take? I always wonder this because you never see it on camera. You always see like the beginning to the end.
We shot it at 10:30
In the morning?
and we got in the morning and got back to the truck at 6:30 that night.
Wow.
For the last trip.
Wow.
That's not too bad.
Tiffany, did you bring potato chips on this hunting adventure?
No, those would be way too noisy. He would kill me.
Amber, do you remember when we went bear hunting and you brought potato chips?
Do you remember when I asked you?
Did you dress that out for a shoulder mount, or you doing the Euro?
I just did a Euro.
Yeah.
So like in our house, we've got the fireplace and our TV's on top of that, and then there's like a big blank wall on both sides.
Not anymore.
So I've got the Euro from 15 when we packed that one out, and then I'll have the Euro from this one, and I'll just have them one on each side.
Nice.
So it'll be kind of clean, cool looking.
Sweet.
How'd you get into hunting? Is hunting something you've always done?
Yeah, it's something I've done with my mom. Even like when my mom and my dad were still together, like I remember them, or there's at least like video of them taking us out in the woods. So I've always been around it, and then I've just progressively gotten into it more and more. And like the older I get, the more I appreciate it and what it brings.
Now you're fairly new to a style of hunting that we love to do.
Yeah,
and that's hunting out of a tree stand.
We talked about this. Yeah,
I've done it once in my life now, and I have a new appreciation for it. It's still not my preferred method. And I think there's a difference between like just hunting in a tree stand to shoot something versus like hunting a mature whitetail buck and trying to kill him out of a tree stand. That's two very different things. Like if you just want to go shoot a doe out of a tree stand, I feel like you could set that.
That's easy.
Back of a.
You
could go set that up in friggin' Tim Hortons parking lot.
That's true story.
But I mean, for me, it's like to go shoot and like actually understand mature whitetail. I gotta go on Ohio, Moss, and hunt with a guy that owns Whitetail Edge official. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his like YouTube stuff, but Ben, like he understands big whitetail. And so it was really cool to learn because I'd never been around anyone that had that knowledge of like actually understanding like how they move, why they move, what they're doing. And just to be able to ask questions and learn gave me a new appreciation for it.
Well, to set up in a lot of the different states, you're not allowed to bait.
Yes.
Right. So down there, you have to hunt their travel paths, the natural corridors. Right. It's not like down here where we can go out and we can throw out corn and apples and sit there and wait for all the does to leave to hopefully a mature whitetail comes in.
Yeah. Baiting definitely changes things. And like in Ohio, you can throw corn out and stuff. And it completely changes the dynamics of how that goes.
100%.
Ask Sean McCall how much bait he puts out on his tree stand in Ontario.
What?
Yeah.
Please do tell.
Well, last week
legal
listen. Yeah, it's legal here.
Yeah, it's legal. Yeah, no. Last week, well, my season's closed now. It closes on December 15th, but I'll put out 1,000 pounds of corn and 800 pounds of apples.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sean's running like a deer farm.
But yeah, I feed a lot of animals.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Looks like a corn truck just spilled over the side of the road.
I got a real good connection with a farmer. Let me tell you, me and him are
you're
good
paying
buddies.
for his farm.
Yeah. We're buddies. He likes when I come by.
Now you just signed a big contract with a Canadian company, X Zone Lures.
Yep.
That must be very exciting for you guys. How important is it for you when you get into these sponsorships to be being part of the design team? You got a swim bait out. You said in your post that you're going to be designing some baits for X Zone. How much is that important that you're part of that process?
It's a huge part of it for me. Like I'm not the kind of person that like just wants to talk a couple times a year with a sponsor, get a paycheck that shows up in the mailbox, and then sign a contract again at the end of the year. Like I want to be involved. I want to know what's going on. And that's the really cool thing with the X Zone team and like Jim there.
Yep.
Like I've been texting him all day.
Yeah.
We talk at least every other day, I would say, since I had started talking to him, and we are bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other all the time. And that's what really makes it enjoyable, is to be able to do that. And the big thing for me was that I already saw the potential in what they had. And then the fact that they wanted to grow and really build that soft plastic lineup and build it out and build the brand into the States, I thought was a really cool opportunity. And I like to be a part of that, right? Because then you can look back at it and say, man, look at what we did.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big yes, that's the whole story part of all this. When you can be part of something to build it up so that you can look back and, where we started from to where we got. Yep,
100%. And they are grinding right now, trying to building that brand, right? I mean, I can only do so much, and then they are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that.
And that's a
is-
very
I think it's
Canadian
gonna be
company. Like I can remember when Mark started that company,
Yep.
Kulik, and I used to get like hand poured X-Zone slammers.
Before you even had packaging, they were in a Ziploc
Longer
bag.
than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I used to get Ziplocs when I saw
Yeah.
Mark at tournaments, and he would just give me all the new colors. And I can remember that Marley and I used to pre-fish based on whatever slammer we had the most of.
I got like a 10.
Yeah.
I got like a 10-pound bag of them in my garage right now.
Yeah.
It's a killer bait here for smallmouth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's got an equal amount of slammers compared to his corn.
That's Sean.
Yes,
Sean
sir.
likes to double everything up.
Yes.
You know how excited we were? So we got a new corn supplier this year. Shout out to Steve. You know how excited we were to get that hookup? You don't even understand, man.
Well, if you're talking 1,000 pounds of corn.
Oh, I go through a few tons a year.
Yeah, we were buying at the TSC, you know?
Yeah.
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 We got hooked up. I was buying at 1,400 pounds at a time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You can't mess around. You got to come up here.
I guess I don't even know how hard that is to do, but sure.
No, it's not hard at all. You get a side by side. You just drop it off.
Yeah,
Make a couple runs.
Well, we got the 4-wheeler.
Well, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the actual getting my license.
Oh no, you'll be fine.
Oh, to get a license here, it's
Yeah,
nothing.
no big deal.
Yeah, you can get an out of state.
We know people.
Yeah, an out of province.
Yeah.
Out of country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I
Out of
really
province
want to go to Idaho and just hear elk bugle. I've never heard that.
I don't want to go to Idaho to hear him bugle. I want to go to Idaho and bow kill something.
Wow, I'm just working us into that.
Baby steps.
You should start walking now.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Find the biggest hill you got and go.
Well, that's another thing. Is that tree stand hunters versus mountain hunters? That's totally two different.
Well, you got to be in shape.
We
I'm
need-
out.
Yeah.
I can climb. I like it.
You can climb what?
I can climb mountains.
With it like an elk in your backpack?
I don't know. Half an elk? No, like
No.
maybe
You
the
know how
head.
big an elk
I'll take
is?
the head. I'll take the
Never
head.
grab the water.
You're not backpacking out a jackrabbit.
Well, I
Like-
could be there. I could carry the water.
Like one hind quarter of an elk is like the whole half of a deer,
Yeah.
Wow.
almost.
How many pounds?
You got this.
I I could do 40.
40.
It's got to be 100 pounds of meat.
You
I'm
can
going-
carry the backs. You can carry a backstrap.
Okay, there you go. That's better than nothing. It's less
Wear
for
it like
you
a
to carry.
scarf.
Maybe both backstraps.
Now, you process all your own meat?
Yeah, we did it all right in our kitchen this year. So I did a
In the trailer?
no at our house.
Oh, I'm like, wow,
She's worried.
that's a big trailer.
I could have done it
Yeah.
in here.
No, we do it. Set it up at our house. So I've got like all the Cabela's processing stuff to do it there at the house. So I did a bear, a mule deer, and an elk this year.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
You do your own sausage?
We actually didn't even do any sausage this year. We just did burger, steaks, and some roast.
Yep.
Kept
Sweet.
it simple.
You got anything more there, McCall? You got a list. We're part of the Daiwa team. You're part of the Daiwa team.
Yeah.
If there was one reel, if somebody's out there and they were like, Brandon, if you could use one Daiwa reel for all 2020, what would it be? Give us one bait caster and one spinning reel.
Well,
You're on the spot.
it's like price doesn't matter.
Nope.
Daiwa Stize 7.1 to 1 for the bait caster, and a Daiwa Exist 3,000.
Okay,
Expensive taste.
now, let's say you're balling on a budget.
Yeah.
What would your choice be?
Oh, I would go probably Tatula 100.
Yep.
That's an awesome, just all around great reel. And it's cheaper than the Elite. Like the Elite's probably a little bit better, but if we're balling on a budget, we'll go with the Tatula 100. And for the reel, probably just the Tatula LT.
Now, what size spinning reel do you like to use?
So before, like in the previous exist,
Yep.
I threw the 2,500, but in the new one, I throw the 3,000 because when they went to that full frame piece and they were able to downsize around, so like they could shrink that where there wasn't excess space around the gears and everything, so it's like a fully sealed frame. Then I was able to go up a size because for me, balance is a big thing on my spinning gear. And so the 3,000 was the same weight as the old 2,500, but I was able to get more line pickup and have that little bit bigger spool. And so now everything I have is the 3,000.
I got a question from Facebook here, Brandon, from Sparkus Fisher, a buddy of mine, Mark. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on St. Clair in August this year?
Ooh, that's a pretty good time to go. Like, I like smallmouth fishing in August because usually they're pretty hardcore in their kind of summer patterns. They're far enough away from the spawn that they've gotten fed back up, and they're feeding. And they know that fall coming hasn't quite hit there yet, and so you can find them grouped up offshore.
Nice.
And then I got another one. I got another question on YouTube from S. Turner. He put like 17 questions here. I'm going to pick the one I want to know the most.
That's why I gave it to Sean.
Yeah. I want to know he wants to know what's your most anticipated event on the schedule for this year?
Oh,
It's not in Florida.
yeah. I do actually like the St. Johns River, though.
Yeah?
I would have to say either Santee Cooper, just because I've read about that tons my entire life, and I've never been on it, or Champlain. Like, Champlain is one to me where I felt like last time we were there in 2017, if we would have fished the next 4 days instead of the 4 days that we fished, I feel like I would have won. The fish that I had found were continually getting fatter day by day. So it was like I caught 18 pounds, then I caught 18.5 pounds, and then I caught 20.5 pounds. Our day 1 or 2 was canceled or something, so we only fished 3 days. But like I was catching the same exact fish, and you literally just saw them getting fatter and fatter and fatter every day because we hit that time frame of where they were just coming off of the post spawn and they just hadn't fed back up yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done this, and usually for Elite Series events, we bet on who's going to win. Of the events this year, how many are you going to win, Brandon?
Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.
All of them.
Yeah. That's what I like. That's a lot like. Boy. When did you call that? You told that on Bass Talk Live in 2018? You're going to win them all? And I went with that the whole season. I was like, Brandon told me he's going to win the next event.
What? It's going to happen one of these times.
Yeah, well.
Just the whole season. Wouldn't that be something?
All of them. I wouldn't even feel bad.
Who's got the most wins in a season? Is it 2? Does anybody have 3 wins?
No, it might be Skeet and Edwin might be tied. I think it's at 2.
It's at 2?
Well, and then last year,
Brandon Cobb won 2 last year.
Brandon Cobb both had 2, but I don't think anyone's ever won 3 in a year.
No, Van Dam's won 2 in a year. So then the number must be 2.
Yeah, it's just like 2. Everyone's stuck on 2.
We need you to pull off 3.
Yeah, three's your number.
I think this is the year.
This is the year. 2020 is the year.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That would mean I got 3 out of 8, so I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
I got a really good.
Completely okay.
Yeah.
I got a really good PM in my box there from a buddy of mine, Stephen Haggerty. He was wondering if you would ever consider coming to Ontario, Canada, and maybe fishing the Pro-Am event on Lake Simcoe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
for sure. I mean, I would consider it considered.
Really?
I mean, I would love to. I've always heard about that place. It's a smallmouth powerhouse. So
yeah.
Yes, it is.
The hardest part is timing.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it may work for you.
Well, Sean will make it work.
Yeah.
Sean's
We'll
gonna
just
go
cancel
call somebody.
everything. Yeah. That's how Sean does things. We can make that work.
Yeah.
You ever thought about fishing the Thousand Island Open?
Yeah, like the BB Open or whatever they call it, or something.
the Renegade on
Yeah.
our side.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. I almost did it one year, a few years ago, but again, it's like usually when that happens, we're a couple thousand miles away somewhere else.
I think the last time you were with the Japanese angler on the other side of the border when it was happening. Like it was
Those were really cool videos.
Those were really super cool.
They were.
And here's a question. What is the difference, like, when you went over there? What was the first thing you noticed different in how they bass fish compared to how we bass fish?
Ooh,
was there something that really jumped out at you when you were like, if there was?
I would say they fish faster.
Really?
In a lot of situations, as far as at least like Lake Biwa goes.
Yeah.
So on Biwa, you've got like the southern end of the lake is like all grass, dirtier, kind of shallow. And there's some offshore stuff, but a lot of it's like shallower grass. And then the upper end of the lake is just clear, rocky type stuff. But those guys fish a lot of their baits, like their lipless baits, their bladed jigs, super fast, like just straight reaction bite.
Wow.
Gotcha. What was the turnout like for like crowds for weigh-ins?
Incredible, like absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you ever saw any of the photos. I don't know if I can find one right now. Like the photos from. Oh, I almost dropped my phone on the computer. The photos from the weigh-in. So I went to the Bassmaster All-Star Classic, which is like their largest event over there.
Yep.
And I was blown away at how many people showed up to that event.
Like we're talking a Bassmaster Classic, people are like way more.
As far as like the blast off goes, yeah, as many people as a Bassmaster Classic.
Wow.
Thousands and thousands of people. And the cool thing is that they never left. So like you went from the blast off straight over to the like expo part.
Yep.
And then the weigh-ins were right there. And it's a completely different crowd of people. I'm gonna see if I can show this to you guys with being able to see.
That's insane.
If you were to compare
I saw that picture. That's
the
crazy.
expo over there to the expo at the Bassmaster Classic,
no comparison. Like,
no?
The Classic's way bigger. Theirs is like on a street thing.
Yeah.
But it's like right there where weigh-ins is.
So it's all like one central location.
Yeah, and like everyone's super hardcore there.
Gotcha.
It's like a different. You don't have as many like casual people coming
We
through.
need those flags.
What's that?
We
You
need.
need what?
Did you see the picture he just held up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need those flags.
You're watching the
Yeah.
delayed reaction.
Yeah. Oh, he's over here.
Yeah.
But I thought he was here.
That's awesome. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Should we go?
Brandon, Tiffany, for 2020, we've come up with Mark Hunter's rapid fire. Mark, explain the rules.
Okay, there's two answers to these questions. There's Tiffany and there's Brandon. That's the only answers. All right,
Okay.
so you guys fire off your
Answers.
answers right
Yeah.
away. Who takes
Do we each answer?
No.
right away?
Oh,
right away.
You can argue.
You can vote.
answer.
You can
You can
argue,
argue,
yeah.
you can arm wrestle, you can do whatever you want. Pillow fight.
You should know that 4 couples have broke up with this, including Chris and Corey.
Okay, you ready?
Fair enough.
All right.
Okay,
Who takes longer to get ready?
Tiffany.
Who snores louder?
No one. We don't
Ooh.
snore.
Who cries at Hallmark movies?
That'd probably be him. I'm just kidding.
Which one of you is more?
soft on movie?
Yeah. Which one is more organized?
Tiff.
Who wears the pants?
Usually.
Nobody wants to answer that one. Who asked who out first?
Oh.
I don't know if we ever even asked each other out. It just happened. I
He
picked
just,
her up
like,
on the
moved-
dock.
He moved in like a week after. I was like, whoa, what's happening?
Who's most likely to embarrass the other?
Oh, me, I guess. I think that would be the right answer to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Who's the messy
I'm
one?
very-
Who's the messy one?
We just
Probably
have-
we have
I think-
different messes. We have messes in different places.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That is a solid, yeah.
Yeah. Who's more social?
Brandon.
Who wakes up with all the bed covers?
Bella.
Bella. I know that's not a one of the choices, but that's the truth.
I totally feel your pain there.
Who's a better driver?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Awkward.
All right. Okay.
Me. 85 in the trailer.
Who celebrates the biggest after a win?
Oh. Probably me. I don't know if you really celebrate. Most of the time most of the times that I've won, it's like this huge sigh of relief where you're just like, I want to hang out in a camper.
And he's on like calls all day.
And like everyone else is gone.
At the end of the season, who needs a holiday more?
Tiff.
Who gets their money's worth at the buffet?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, did we lose them?
we
It
missed
froze out
It
for a
froze up.
second.
Okay.
Do it again.
Hey,
Go again.
who gets their money's worth more at the buffet?
Tiff.
Yeah.
Who's Bella's favorite?
Ooh.
Ooh. Well, right now it's Brandon because he was gone all weekend.
Yeah. Whoever the last person to leave was.
Aw.
Okay, who makes better coffee?
Me.
Oh, Brandon.
That's it.
Do it.
Beauty. That's the first time we didn't
There
have
was
a
no
fight.
domestic.
Yeah, no domestic.
Wow.
Well done.
But we got halfway through the questions, and I thought Corey was going to hit Chris.
Yeah, they were on it.
They were on.
Oh, they were. They were.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. We are all going to Alabama, so we will see you guys at the Classic.
Yeah, look for the Canadian flags.
Yes.
And the drunk guy.
And the drunk guy.
Who's that?
That'd be our buddy Doug.
Just one?
No. Yeah.
Is
Let's be
Alabama
honest
Amber
here.
coming?
Alabama Amber?
Yeah.
Gonna
Like-
throw that contest out there?
Oh, yeah. Before we go, Sean, we
Whoa.
have a Daiwa reel to give away tonight. And Brandon, don't answer the question.
Okay.
Brandon found the answer for us. Fire away, Sean.
Yeah, and you know what? To find this answer, you're going to have to dive deep into Brandon's YouTube channel, which is, Brandon, give us the name of your YouTube channel.
Just BMP Fishing.
There you
Tiffany, throw us out the Instagram for your hookup for your business.
Oh, it's just at Tiffany McCall.
Perfect.
Did you say McCall?
Sean McCall. Tiffany McCall.
N-I-E.
Oh, my.
Not N-Y. It's Tiffany with an N-I-E.
There
Yeah,
you go,
my last
yeah.
name's McCall too, but spelled a little bit differently than yours.
Okay. That works.
We're not related.
So
Yours
anyway,
is spelled Canadian.
Yeah, mine's a Canadian spelling, 100%. Anyway, in representative Brandon being on Team Daiwa, we're going to give away a CC80 tonight. It's going to be your choice of a left-handed or a right-handed reel. When you win, you're going to send in your information on a PM to me. But the question for tonight's contest,
Epic video too.
yes, it's a really
was
good
great.
video. In the episode with Brandon and his cameraman
Kyle. Brandon versus Kyle.
when they had a fishing tournament between the two of them, who won and what was the winning weight?
Score.
Where was the score?
Score.
What was the end score?
Sorry, score.
Score.
Yeah.
What was the score?
What was the score?
What was the score?
Brandon, Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you at the Classic. Stay out of trouble. Next time we see each other, I'll try not to drink so much.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Likewise.
Safe travels, guys.
Safe travels, and we'll see you in Alabama.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
How cool is that, guys?
That was awesome.
They're such a great
Oh,
couple.
I didn't get to ask them for the junk drawer. I wanted to see their
the junk drawer.
Everybody's got a wicked
got
junk
a
drawer.
junk drawer. I wanted to see
We
it.
don't have
You know-
one anymore.
you know
In
what?
this house, we had an epic junk drawer, and then Amber made us get rid of it.
I got a junk drawer at home, and it's wild because it's all my shit.
Yeah?
It's all mine. I open it up. I'm like, this is
where the
all the
flat-
stuff that I've been looking for. She's like, well, I just keep putting everything you have in the drawer. I'm like, yeah, but like I'll go home and I'll put my keys on the top of the table.
Yeah.
I'll go in the morning to start my truck. My keys are gone.
Oh,
That's
And I'm
this
like,
house.
Jamie Francis,
I told you.
where
where
are my
I hung them.
keys? She's like, they're in the thing. I'm like, what thing? She's like, your drawer.
Your drawer.
I'm like,
Put
yeah,
your keys in your drawer.
I'm like, but everything in life doesn't have to go in this one little drawer. She's like, yes, it does because it's a mess. I'm like, all right. Happy.
I remember
life.
as a kid,
Happy life.
like maybe 2 or 3 times as being a kid, my dad cleaned out his junk drawer, and that was like a huge thing because I was. getting
Oh,
all
it's so
kinds
much
of
We had,
fun.
like,
stuff,
such a-
Yeah.
like pocket knives
For
and
my
little
my entire
gadgets and-
I lived in this house since we moved here when I was 1, and in the kitchen on the top drawer was the junk drawer. Like when you can't find something but you have it, that's where that's where it is.
junk
Oh, so some days those are the best days. You remember the other morning we had the video conversation when I was making breakfast in my room?
Yes.
Yep.
And I put on those sunglasses. I just walked over to the junk drawer because we were talking. I opened it up. I was like, oh, look at this. And I threw out my sunglasses.
Was it bright for you on the
Found-
video conference? Is
Found
that-
them.
He was making sunny side.
No,
up.
he
drawer.
he looked like Joaquin Phillips,
Oh,
Phoenix, when he was like giving up on life.
Okay.
No, like Nick Nolte at just waking up.
We
Like-
had a
like a
very,
wrestler?
we had a very important call that morning.
We did. Let's let everybody. We're gonna have a break. Everybody, run over to Brandon's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Find the answer. First one to post it. Are you gonna watch during
Don't
the
forget to like and subscribe while you're
Where are
there.
they posting?
Yeah.
Where are they posting this?
in the either of the IMs. We have the
We
official
need the score.
score and who
And
won.
who won? First ones.
The score.
Woody, are you
not
ready for
just
the break?
not
Yeah,
just the
yeah, we
score
can do
that
this.
wins.
I've got-
'cause
I've
I
got-
have somebody that answered too.
I've got a Phil Allen already.
Did we got a winner?
I've got 926. Matt S said the score, or he said what Brandon had, but he didn't. Tell.
We need the
No,
score
the
and
score
who won.
between them both. What's the
Yeah.
score? I've got Phil Allen.
Phil Allen's got it already.
Yep.
Phil
Guy's a
Allen does have
machine.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yep.
Is it correct?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds here.
It is.
It is correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Phil Allen, nice
is
job.
the winner.
Go, Phil
of
Allen.
Unreal.
He
Let's-
wins everything. That guy.
18.5 to 9. 18.5 to 9.
For Brandon, right?
That's why I thought it was weight because it was 0.5. Was it? It had to be weight.
There was. I think it was. Yeah, I think they were doing weight, but they were just doing it off the cuff. Watch the video; it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's
cool.
a super funny one. We're gonna be right back. We're going to catch up with us since we haven't talked about anything fear fishing. Questions, comments, get them in, and we will get back to you in just a minute. Mike Carnegie is a financial advisor at Northstone Wealth, providing insurance solutions that protect you and your family. Investment solutions for all your needs, like your kids' education and your retirement. Get good advice from a good guy and also a fellow angler and trusted member of the Fear Fishing family.
Hi, I'm Mike Carnegie. If you want a little direction, give me a shout. 905-925-0663. See you on the water.
How did the Jack Links people find me? Look at this. Look at all the Jack Links. Just arrived on the water, loaded up for the rest of summer. Cases and cases of Jack Links beef jerky. I think we're ready for a little fall fishing. Nothing better than jerky and fishing. Welcome to the first tips, tricks, and other random thoughts video of 2020. I believe this is the first video of 2020. Well, the first tips video for 2020. We haven't done any vlogs yet. I haven't been fishing at all in 2020. What you see here is kind of the FearFishing mess. We moved the new studio and we also moved the pegboard and all the fishing lures for the new year. Trying to get this all set up, but here at the FearFishing house, we did a thing. When I say we did a thing, we did a thing. Over the break, we picked up this. A week ago, we picked up Casey, who's purebred, short-haired German pointer, who we kind of weren't planning on getting. Amber and I had to discuss getting a new dog to replace Montana, who you guys know, sadly, we had to put down last November 1st. Amber really wanted a Doberman. I really wanted another pointing dog because I like them so much. They're very smart and they're very, very, very affectionate. So we looked at dogs. We asked everybody on our social media, on our Facebook and Instagrams, what they thought we should do. And then Amber and I kind of said, well, if something happens, then we'll look into it. And if it doesn't, we'll just wait. Next morning, I happened to jump online and I saw that this little thing had been brought back. So somebody had purchased her when she was 8 weeks old, and sadly in that time they had found out that they'd become sick and they were going to be unable to have a puppy. So they brought young Casey back, and I saw that she was on there. She's 10 weeks old, and the cool part is that Casey was born on the same day that we sadly had to put Montana down. So it was kind of meant to be. It took Amber about 30 seconds at the couple's house who had the puppies to realize that she was in. It has been a crazy week here. Big Bailey is not overly excited about the new puppy. Chili, the dash hound, seems pretty cool with her, but there's a lot of work that goes into a puppy. Mark and I are looking into taking the gun hunting courses. As you guys know, in the past, Mark and I only bow hunted. And if we make it happen, we're going to use Casey not only as a house pet and somebody for Ashton to hang out with, but we're going to use you as a working dog. So in 2020, I don't know exactly how much ice fishing we're going to get in. Super busy. The weather is terrible. I'm not going on 2 inches of ice to catch a fish. It's not really my jam. If we get some safe ice, I'd be more than pumped to get out to the Bay Quinte or up north for some lake trout. But here's which, in my experience owning dogs, you got to take lots of time with them. You need to bond with them. And, the first between like 8 to 6 months, the most important part is obedience. It's kind of like you put all this effort in at the beginning so that the next 10, 12, 13 years run smoothly. So that is what we're looking at. We're going to do more tips, tricks, and other random thoughts videos. We can do it on fishing tackle prep. We can do it on anything you want. Kyle Crothers, my man, is going to help me with some training for Casey. We're going to maybe get her to find sheds. He has a super, super trained black lab. Hank, one of my favorite dogs of all time. So it's exciting, but it doesn't. Everything that went on the last week and before that doesn't really turn into great YouTube videos. What I need from you guys is check in. Let me know what you guys want to see. If there's tips and tricks, kind of stuff you want to know, awesome. We're trying to make the FearFishing Experiment better. We're trying to bring more to the FearFishing Experiment. Secret inside information here. Oh, you're back. January 20th at 8 p.m. is the next FearFishing Experiment. We should have Brandon Palaniuk, fresh off fishing the Bass Open. He is down in Florida right now fishing the Bass Open. Hopefully we're going to get him in Monday night to talk to everybody. So let me know what you guys want to see. I'm going to work hard with the pup over the next few weeks. Things we got coming up: spring fishing and boat show, the Peterborough tackle swap and fishing show, and then we're off to the BassMaster Classic in Alabama. And sadly, you're not coming. Probably miss you while we're gone. But a lot of things going on here at FearFishing. I hope you guys tune in. Let me know what you want and the tips, tricks, and other random thoughts. I miss doing vlogs. I miss fishing. I miss hunting. I miss deer hunting, even though it didn't end so well. Really miss being out in the woods. Having Casey is kind of an excuse to get outside and do some stuff, but we need you to get bigger. She's still just little. Keith, let me know what you want. Let me know what you want to see. If there's any tackle prep or anything else, FearFishing is also working on a couple other projects.
Fear fishing, making moves.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. We're going to do another giveaway in the second half of the show since
Yeah.
Mr. Allen
Christmas.
got that so fast.
Yeah.
Just beast mode. Let's you know what? If you're a fan of Brandon Palaniuk, you need to be a Tiffany fan, because Brandon couldn't pull, and none of the guys on tours without support from their wives.
Oh, I think that's a big part of it, to have somebody to support you on the back end and to help you out in like real life, because that's what this is to those guys. It's real life. It's a big deal.
I couldn't do fear fishing and all the vlogs and everything that without Amber. People don't understand always how much Amber is doing behind the scenes, especially when boat season comes, picking kids up, making sure things are all right at home, making financial decisions, like as soon as fishing starts, I'm down here fishing, filming, editing, dealing with the business aspect of this, and Amber's running the household. So if you're a Brandon fan, then shout out to Tiff for helping make that happen. Because
follow Tiff on Instagram too, because she has behind the scenes.
Yeah, she is super cool. I follow Tiff, and you can't fish at that level and produce that much content that Brandon does without a whole lot of support in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well
I saw a tour of their trailer. It was really cool.
Yeah, I did
really
that too.
to see
That's
their
cool.
They're
drone
super.
though.
You know what? And we've met a lot of people in the world of fishing who aren't the same people they are on camera.
Yeah.
Brandon and Tiffany are that. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. When we met them down in, where were we? Tennessee?
The fact that
No,
man
we're in
answers my harassing text messages tells you what kind of character he is.
And the coolest part is he has a snack pantry.
Yeah.
We should have got into that.
I got a snack pantry.
I'm sure that we can.
I just filled my snack pantry.
I'm sure that we can get Brandon and Tiff back on later in the year at some
Snack
point.
pantry.
Oh my. So Sean, you want to give that away, that Fear Fishing T-shirt? I think we're down to 7 or 8 left.
Where'd we find those?
Collector's items.
I don't know where we found
Under
those.
the bed.
Hey, do you want to do your contest?
Yeah, sure. Well, you know what? We're going to give away something else on Fear Fishing
you should
here.
show them.
We're going.
It's stuck.
We got a Fear Fishing T-shirt.
We got a bunch of them here, so we can find the size for whoever wins.
We'll do our best.
Well, this
We'll do
one's
our
large.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a Fear Fishing T-shirt, and this.
It's the OG.
Yeah, like us, we're OGs.
Oh geez.
Oh geez, I say it every time.
So we're gonna give away this T-shirt to the person that can tell us what was hanging off my mic stand for the first half of the show.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's gone now. If you look, it's gone.
But it was there.
Do you
was
are they
there.
going to be specific? Like, do they have to be?
Yeah.
No, they can just say what was hanging off the mic stand. It's gone, and it's gone for good reason.
In true style.
Bush nerd just got it.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
Send Sean your information. We'll get that.
We call it roadie.
2020 is a big year, boys.
Wow,
Yeah.
Bushner. All right, Bushner, I need you to PM us your personal information. All your.
We'll mail that to you.
Yep. Send
Nothing
it out.
better than giving
Hopefully
stuff
it's
away.
not in
eh?
Alaska.
And if you send us your email, we'll gladly give that to everybody else out here in Facebook and YouTube land.
In India.
Just like Laker272 at
That's the
hotmail.com.
one.
Oh, my phone just blew up. We got a winner though.
Yeah,
we had
do.
a lot of comments through Brandon and Tiffany's chat, but we were trying to go with a different style of interview and not necessarily the fishing.
You know what? You could watch anybody else's show and find out about
or their vlog or
yeah,
You can
What
get on
kind
his
of
channel.
knot you like to tie?
yeah.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff is in well, maybe a little overplayed in the fishing market. But
Well-
it's not very often that you can get somebody like Brandon and his girlfriend Tiffany to sit down and have behind the scenes chat.
Yeah.
Personal.
or
Get
Chris
to know
and
them.
Corey.
Yeah.
Chris and
Yeah.
Corey, we had them here for hours.
Right? But in that interview, we got to know those guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right? And got to know the real Chris and Corey.
And that's a really important aspect. And then sometimes in fishing, like you can find out everything about your NHL favorite hockey player. Like there'll be 100 YouTube videos, from ESPN's point of view or Sports Illustrated. It's not very often that we get to have a behind the scenes look at any of our professional anglers.
So we're looking for questions that are a little more personal.
Yeah.
and
Not gear oriented
relatable
or
and
technique oriented, more
Yeah.
like lifestyle.
life. Yeah.
Life.
Real life.
Well, that's a big part of, fishing and hunting and the outdoors isn't just it really is a lifestyle. When you're that deep into it, it is everything. Everything revolves around, even at this house, everything revolves around fishing season.
I think Joan would say that holds true in our family too.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Joan, who's sitting on the couch
over
tonight.
there.
Hey,
Oh,
Joan.
Wyatt. Can we see her?
What'd you guys do all day?
You can hear us.
What did you and Joan do all day?
Joan and I made natural cleaning products.
Really?
Yeah, we
They did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like for what kind? Like
Like
what
wood,
can we clean?
like we made wood wipes, like furniture polish wipes, and we made laundry soap, all-purpose cleaner.
Anything that can clean a
I was
bass
going to
boat?
say something, but it would have been so bad.
We could make you a bass boat cleaner. There you go, Joan.
Yeah, bass
We
boat
should
cleaner.
make a bass boat cleaner.
A biodegradable one?
Yeah. Ooh. Joan.
That smells
Smart.
like lavender.
So 20
No,
or
we'd
garlic.
make it yeah, we could. Make it
a sniff of
manly.
garlic
If you
garlic.
got questions, comments, or questions for the Fear Fishing crew, get them in. We'll answer them before the end of the show. But 2020 is here, boys.
It is.
We've had 2 big shows in a row so far.
Yeah, people have commented and how they like the new format.
I don't know that it's a new format. I think that
We
it
kind of stepped away from the interview thing for a while, right? And
it's really hard to we've had everybody big on the first 40 episodes of this. It was really hard to get people to watch and not talk about gear.
yes,
And Fear Fishing, I feel I want to talk more than just gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to me. And Brandon and I said this while we were talking to Brandon. Brandon and I have had huge conversations about telling stories. My interest in my favorite fishermen or my favorite hunters. I want to see what's going on in their lives.
know
So,
the
like,
person,
are you a guy who just fishes bass tournaments and then goes home and lives a totally separate life from this, or is this life? It's really important. I wanted to ask Brandon about questions about designing lures. How important is that to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want that top surface questions. I want to dig a little deeper.
remember how excited you were when he got the announcement he was coming back to bat?
Oh, pumped.
You should have seen the look on this guy's face.
I harassed that guy so much about this over
like
the
he
last
kissed
year.
a real girl for the first time that wasn't his mom.
Yeah.
He was like,
I
really
was really that excited. I'm really excited that G's back too. If there's anything that
me
like,
too.
I really hope that G wins a classic. He is one of the nicest guys that we've ever met along the way of this Fear Fishing. When he gave us his classic tickets for that Sean and I could sit in the front row, I was in every BassMaster video for a year, giving Ike the high five.
Pretty sweet.
That's the only thing I'm missing. I feel like Ike needs to come back.
And he's got the greatest speeches.
Who?
Gerald.
Oh.
If he wins or not, I just love hearing
Honesty.
that guy when he.
Honesty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked when Ike stage dove off the classic
Giver?
stage. Yeah. What are you doing, Sean?
Oh, just,
Having a time.
putting stuff underneath the Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
The only time I almost broke my neck. 2020 is here. A lot of things have happened. Big guests, but we've introduced somebody new to our family.
We have.
We have added a short-haired German pointer to this already crazy household.
He's so cute.
She's
so cute. I didn't look behind.
So here's the deal. You wanted a Doberman pincer pretty bad. I wanted a short-haired German pointer. Right before I bought Miss Montana, who was our English setter, I really wanted a German short-haired pointer. I really have this thing since I was a little kid about bird dogs. I had bird dogs growing up on our farm. They're very affectionate. They're very loyal dogs.
Well, the first thing that dog did to me was lick up and jump up on my lap and give me a bunch of face licks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Montana passed away I had to put her down on November 1st. I had her for 15 and a half years. I got her when I was right around 21. Well, when I got my first real big people job, it was what I spent my first paycheck on. She came from Hammer, Ontario. And I had to fill out about a 40-page questionnaire, and they sent me the puppy. And Craig, my dad, was nice enough to go up and pick her up for me. And I can remember, I have pictures of the day that I got her. We have 2 other dogs. We have Chili, who is Amber's dog, and we have Big Miss Bailey, who is
Chili is a miniature
Dash
dog.
Hound.
Yeah.
We have 12-year-old Bailey, who is the mom figure, but who is not a very affectionate dog.
She's a bully.
She doesn't like to
She's
cuddle.
not a bully.
No, she's like a get out of here and get a
protecting-
job, mom.
No,
Yeah.
she's protecting her chili dog.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
loves her
And
chili
her
dog.
toys,
She
and
likes
her
to be
treats.
pet. She likes to lay on the couch, but she's not an overly affectionate dog. Over the Christmas holidays, we had Miss Pepper stay.
Yeah, you did.
And Miss Pepper is a very, very affectionate dog.
Yes, she
Miss Pepper. And it really reminded me
Very
how much.
gassy, affectionate
she is
dog.
very
Just
gassy.
blowing you kisses out the other end.
Oh,
Just-
But I had realized over the 2 weeks that Pepper stayed here how much I miss that affection, how much I really missed Montana. So we had this discussion over a Doberman or a German short-haired pointer, and then we got to the point where,
You put a poll on Facebook.
well, we had everybody.
Yeah.
I was trying to pull power from everybody.
Yeah.
And we decided that we weren't, if something happened, that we would get a puppy, but we weren't going to rush into it.
Yeah, it wasn't the best time. And the right puppy at the right time would find its way.
yeah, 12 hours later.
Yeah. The next morning.
I had checked Facebook, and a family who is FearFishing fans, who knew about FearFishing, they had a puppy, a litter. The puppies were all sold.
When were they born?
They were born, Miss Casey was born on the day, November 1st, the day I had to put Montana down. Wow. So as I was at the veterinary putting Montana down, crying, she was being born. So Casey had been sold to another family, and unfortunately, one of that family members had become ill, and they were not able to look after her, so they brought her back. I just happened to be on the internet and saw this opportunity. And I knew if I could just get Amber there, that there wasn't going to be anything but a yes.
After I heard about November 1st, I was like, shit.
It's like an omen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like an omen. Now you
I
got this
believe
little
in all
dog.
of that.
Now you got this little dog with this little wee tail that only wags on the right side. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed
It
that.
only goes.
So here's something the other day that made me laugh too. My grandfather always used to talk about how hounds trot sideways. When they get trotting, their arse end will start passing their
Chili
shoulders.
does it all the time.
So I was giggling down, and I was watching Casey go down the hallway, and she got slant-sided and was running sideways, and I was like, man, my grandfather would be proud of you.
That's funny because when Mark and I got here and the dog ran across the room kind of sideways, I was like, look, she walks just like Ian.
Yeah, she did.
She got the
Chili,
dog trot.
Chili does the same thing.
My grandfather used to say a really good dog would do the dog trot, but when it got run, it'd straighten back out.
Yeah. Yes. Totally.
But she's a dog trotter.
Yeah.
I seen her yesterday, and her ass end just about past her forehead.
Yeah. People keep telling me to watch A Dog's Purpose, and somebody just commented A Dog's Purpose.
What is this?
We have to
There's
watch that tonight.
it's about everybody here has dogs, right?
Yeah.
There's something, and here's the other thing. When I really feel that Ashton, it's good for a kid to grow up with a dog. Montana was really, truly my dog who didn't pay a whole lot of attention. Bailey did her job with Ashton, as I think if you touch that kid, that dog would bite you in a second. When he was a little tiny baby, she would sit beside who was ever holding him,
and
she
stare
laid
at him.
behind it. And she's not an overly affectionate dog, but she is very protective of her people.
Loyal.
We had somebody open our front door one night when Amber and I were watching TV, and that dog went out of her mind. And
We
that's
were
her
in our
job.
back bedroom.
And somebody opened the door, and she went out of her mind. And I came out, and the door was open. And it was right after we'd had all that stuff stolen.
Yeah.
So Bailey is not overly affectionate, but she loves her people.
Mm-hmm.
It was really important to me that I had been really lucky growing up around bird dogs at our farm. Ashton, she has taken to Ashton unbelievably.
Yeah.
It is really good for Ashton he sits in there and talks to her. He has conversations with her that maybe he wouldn't have with anybody else. I really think there's a special connection between a kid and their dog.
Oh, 100%. I have the same kind of connection with my dog. I have conversations with that dog all the time.
Yep.
Right, I look at that dog every time I come home. I'm like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" The dog's wagging her tail. Is your mommy super crazy today? She's wagging her tail. I'm like, "All right, I'll stay on my side of the room." Right?
There's nothing you can't replace that.
100%.
I lived alone when my grandfather passed away, who was the closest person in my life, and I can remember coming home and Montana was here. Right, and when I was upset by myself, the dog was here.
And when I moved in and you got upset and started your, ADHD rants, Montana would lay on top of me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every time.
So, like there is something really special, and if you were on the fence about getting a dog, you can't go wrong.
Now, Mark, you got a boxer.
I do.
You do, and for the longest time, me and your dog, we had this relationship. Like I looked at that dog, I'm like, you're a dick.
Well, yeah.
Right.
She's a dick to everybody at first.
Your
It's
dog
hard
was
to
a
get.
dick to me.
No,
for a long
she's
time.
a dick to you unless she needs you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
That's yeah. You could look at it that way.
Your dog was a dick to me for a long time,
But
we
now
had
she's
this.
a huge suckhole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's good. She pees when she sees me now.
She does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just-
yeah. I so do I.
It's a trait she learned from her
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah, you're cleaning the seat in my truck, by the way.
There is something special between somebody and their dog. I'm really excited about Casey.
Ian likes
feel
Velcro
better.
dogs.
I missed that a whole lot. And Pepper likes
Yeah.
to cuddle. She needs to touch you. And I realize, and like, I the whole time I was really excited, and when Pepper left, I was like, man, I really missed that.
So
I really,
Pepper's
like,
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pepper was the
planted
problem.
The seeds.
Yeah.
It's
Planted
nice
the
to
seed.
come home and somebody like not that you're not, but it's nice to come home and somebody be super excited to see it.
Yeah,
You know
like,
what I
what
mean?
did you break today?
Yeah.
Dogs don't seem to hold grudges like girlfriends and wives.
No, they don't.
I'll agree with that 100%.
2020. What are you guys excited for? Everybody's been messaging about ice fishing. How come we haven't been ice fishing?
There's no ice.
Well, they're starting to get ice. It's pretty cold.
Yeah,
Well,
but
now-
now there's all that snow on it, and we're kind of need a machine.
We can't really talk, but we've been working on a something, getting prepared for later down the road this year.
A little something, something.
Yeah, we're working on other things other than
Yeah.
being out in the water right now. We got some things in the back burner that we're bringing to light. And
It's usually pretty slow on the Fear Fishing blog for the first part of the year.
It is.
I'm sure we will go ice fishing somewhere.
I think you should start vlogging some training videos with Casey.
We are. Mr. Crothers is going to help, and there's going to be some
good.
cooking videos
Oh,
coming.
nice.
you're gonna cook the dog.
Are we gonna cook
See
the
how it
walleye
goes.
that's in the fridge or freezer?
Mr. Crothers and I have got a deer heart. We got some deer meat. We have some ducks. We have walleye from our trip that Mr. Crothers and I are going to cook.
I would like some walleye.
Cooking with Mr. Carruthers.
There you go.
Well,
Sounds
he's
like
gonna
Mr.
he's
Rogers.
gonna
You
kill
can
me.
have like aprons, like custom aprons.
Walk with
Well,
Yan.
Kyle
Just like
really
walk
wants-
with Yan.
Kyle really wants a cooking YouTube channel. My phone's gonna light up here in a second.
Are you gonna kiss the cook?
I already have. Secrets out.
He
Leanne.
doesn't remember.
Yeah.
But we're working on different projects so that when fishing season comes, we're going to be in a better flow of things. And I think that when this new thing comes to fruition, everybody out there is going to be real excited.
Comes to what?
We're really excited about it, so you guys should be too.
It's going to be
Fruition.
We've never lied to you.
Fruition.
Fruition.
Yeah.
Did you use the word fruition?
Yeah, you did. Fruition.
Aluminum.
Spell it.
Aluminum. Aluminum.
It's going to be exciting. It's an exciting year. I feel like 2020 is a big year. I really think that's
It's just got a nice ring to it.
It does have a nice ring to it. It starts a new decade. It starts a new year of possibilities. A new decade of possibilities.
Yeah.
We started this year off right as well. You
Yeah,
know
we
what I
did.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
we
we came in with the full thought of changing it up this year. We wanted to make things fresh, make things new, and we started right here at the West household.
It's really hard to stay ahead of the curve. Like, do you know? Like, in order to be forerunners, you always got to be trying new things. And if some things don't work and other things work, and you can't be afraid of making changes and.
But you also can't be afraid of making mistakes.
That's right. 110%. Like you kind of.
Oh, we got that part down.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, Woody? Yeah, we do.
You can't succeed without failure. And you can't be, and you know what? Lots of people want to do stuff and they're so afraid of the failure. I don't want to fail in front. That's why I didn't fish tournaments till I was 25, 26 years old. Cause I didn't want to shit the bed in front of people. But that's kind of you kind of got to get used to that in order to be a tournament fisherman.
True. We've actually had a couple questions about that tonight. What are our plans for tournament fishing this year? Okay, and there's that awkward silence.
Yeah.
But I'll come out and say it. I think we're going to fun fish a little more this year. I think we're going to do
less
a little,
tournaments, more fun fishing, more like it's been a blast.
Family fishing.
It's been a lot of fun fishing tournaments. I think that me personally, there was a point in time that I really wanted to be Brandon Palaniuk. And I think the older I get, the less I'd like to be away from my family.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to, like Brandon said, they're away for 3 months, home for 3 weeks, and then gone for 7 months. I don't think I want to miss my kids and Amber and the dogs that much. I don't mind being away for a couple weeks here and there.
I'd kill you if you left me with the puppy now.
Yeah, well.
I'd totally
But
kill you.
do you know what I mean? I think that there was a point of time that I really wanted to be Kevin Van Dam, and the older I got, the more I'd like to be Mark Zona. And then that's just growing as a person. I really want to tell my story so that maybe I could inspire somebody to be Kevin Van Dam.
Inspire.
You don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about here.
But do you get what I'm
Nobody
saying?
needs to die.
We were thinking there's 100,000 lakes in Ontario?
Oh, I don't know. There's 100,000.
10,000? Do you know what lane
yeah,
at
10,000? I'd probably.
We have only got to fish a small percentage of them.
And you know what? I really think that what we're going to do filming this year is really going to help out what we're doing on the back burner as
For sure.
well. It's really going to set us up to help bring that forward.
I don't think people realize like how tough it is to film a tournament and be competitive in that tournament.
And then go home, edit, and wake up the next morning and figure out what you're doing for their next.
Well, yeah, that's it. See, for me, I get out of the boat at the end of the day, and I'm
home.
good to hang out and do whatever, have a few drinks. And Ian's like, "Man, I got to go. I got a ton of work to do."
4 hours.
I'm
of
like,
editing.
come on, stick around, have a drink. And he's like, "No, man, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I got to go home. I got to edit. I got to do all this, and then I got to sleep because I got to get up in the morning and meet you back here at the launch." And
He
then,
comes
I start
upstairs.
thinking about that, and I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, I would not want to do that right now.
He
I
comes
would,
upstairs at like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, whatever. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like,
12.
I got to go to bed.
Well, yeah, he's messaged me at 1 o'clock in the morning where
Yep.
I'm just getting this done now, but I think it's good. And, I'll be there in the morning. And, he's always there. Or anytime I pull up here in the morning, he's always out there. And he's always already have a coffee in his hand. Right?
Standing
like
at the
he's
gas
been
pump.
up. He's ready to roll. He's never missed a beat. And I really respect you for that.
There came a period where I realized that getting people to fish was less important to me than winning. There was a time in my life I'd have done anything in the world to win. We didn't fish tournaments. I would pre-fish 12 hours a day. I would back when I was younger and I fished with Marley. And there's something that happened probably when I got sick, where I kind of lost that I'll do anything in the world to win, and it kind of switched to I do anything in the world to share my story. And I don't know what happened. And
you didn't win.
No, I haven't. But I also like.
But I feel that we have grown the sport.
I think we have too.
absolutely,
I think being
100%.
open and honest has probably burnt a lot of our fishing spots that we potentially could have won on and put other anglers on there, not just tournament anglers, but people who watch the vlog. And I'd give that. That's more important to me than winning a tournament. The messages that I've received is winning enough.
Exactly.
And you get some pretty damn good messages too. Because you share them
we've
with
had
us,
some
yeah.
like
And
pretty
some
crazy
visitors
Yeah.
to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid who showed up blew my mind. Good on you, kid.
But it's good to know that, what we're doing
everything
is making
changes.
a difference for people, and they're happy going out of the water and they're being successful.
Absolutely.
Or they're seeing, hey, that guy's struggling. Not everybody wins at tournaments. I just got to keep my head down. Like they see us grinding it out.
Yeah. I measure stuff, and when like a lot of what Brandon is saying, and Brandon's been being friends with Brandon has been influential in my life. I've had a lot of really good conversations that with Brandon that I wouldn't want to share with people. He's very. I don't know when I've ever heard that guy upset. I've been really upset about stuff that I read about him, and he brushed it off his back. I asked him one time. Sometimes it's weird being Ian West of FearFishing. Well, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm just a regular guy who really likes to fish. Sometimes it's a little odd when people talk to you And I don't know you. I've never met you, but you know me because you watch the vlog. So I talked to Brandon about that. I have a big conversation. Best piece of advice I ever got. And you know, maybe I had some anxiety over meeting people like this too, because it was a little awkward, because I'm really nothing special. I'm just a guy who likes to fish. And I'm a guy who likes to film his fishing, and I'm a guy who likes to share a story. Brandon told me what he does is he just beats Brandon all the time. That way nobody's ever disappointed.
And same with you. You're Ian West all the time.
And I'm just Ian.
Yep.
Whether you hate my guts or you like me or I'm your favorite angler or you really wish I'd drown in my boat, I'm just Ian. And this is what's really happening. We've never falsified any vlogs.
No.
We've never.
For what?
I've never second taken anything. Like, we don't take second takes. You can tell in the vlogs I make mistakes all the time. It is what it is. It's real. I'm not perfect. Mark's not perfect. Sean's not perfect.
But it's okay to be not perfect.
That's right. And I think you got to grow as a person to be all right with not being perfect.
Yeah.
This show isn't perfect. Right, Woody?
Like, we could have fished Trenton for walleye for a week.
You wouldn't
and
have caught
hopefully
nothing.
I would have caught one and, put that in the show. But
you will this
no.
year. You're going to hammer him this year.
I know I'm going to.
I know you're going to.
Yeah.
There's a big thing to be said about if everybody went out and maybe this is what I want to come across. If everybody went out there and found 4 or 5 really good friends like I have, who have 4 or 5 really good significant others, you'd be as happy as I was to share your failures. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we share each other's failures all the time.
we fight and argue.
We're champions.
All the time. If I always think about the 8-year-old Ian who watched the Bassmasters for the first time on TNN Outdoors. If I told him that I went drinking with Mike Iaconelli and I kissed Pete Glusak on the cheek, and Chris Grohl gave me a 6-pack that Sean bought at a bar in, what is it, Tennessee? And the time the lady at the Waffle House in South Carolina came out and said her kid was a big fan of ours, that kid would be real happy. So I haven't failed at all.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like
no,
that,
I know
that kid,
exactly what you mean.
I think that,
we've had a pretty good ride.
We've had a hell of a ride.
It's not over yet. It's just getting
going,
boys. We just took it off a choke. Oh, my rock star, and watch this.
And I think that I think that we got to the point where, we have, not only can we bring some guests on and talk to them about what we'd like to talk to them about, but we can bring some guests on that maybe people haven't heard of. They can tell. We got Matt Hubble and Dave Bairstow coming out on the next show.
I can't wait to have those two on the show. Those guys are
hammers.
beauties.
Yeah.
Absolute beast mode.
And they're in studio?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're coming over. We're going to talk to them. And I'm
Mark, you're the designated driver that night.
I'm
telling you, when those
every night
when those gentlemen leave and we're done our show, if you hadn't tuned in, you're really going to miss something.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're really going to miss, like, my buddy Dave looks about the grumpiest guy in the whole world.
Yes,
and can be.
And can be.
Yeah.
At times.
No.
He is the most, I don't, through the deer hunt, supportive, shares every post I've ever put up anywhere.
But you really got to see a different side of him getting to know him.
Yeah.
That's right. Totally. Do you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you can't judge a book by its cover.
Well, a lot of people, they're like, oh, Dave's this, Dave's that. This is why.
He's one of the
because
most
Dave
kind-hearted.
when he has an opinion, his opinion's strong.
That's right.
And this is how I feel. And he'll tell you straight out how he feels. And some people don't like people that'll tell you how they feel. Like, oh,
he's one of the greatest dudes, and
right?
I couldn't been happier to.
And we met him through the great
Daiwa
Pro staff,
Yeah,
for sure. The day I went fishing with him was probably one of my top 5 fishing highlights of 2019. I learned so much.
The other 4 were with me, Dave. Sorry.
I learned so much and I learned so much on a body of water that I thought I really knew, and I didn't know anything. So it's. I can't wait for 20. I can't wait to have them in studio, and I can't wait to talk to them. And I know that everybody out there who's listening and watches that show is going to walk away being big Dave and Matt fans.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And you're going to cheer for them when they fish tournaments this year.
For sure.
That's another thing why it's really important. I feel like we like I want people to be fans, even if we're not going to tournament fish. I still want people to be fans of Canadian tournament fishermen.
Oh, we're still going to be fans ourselves.
For sure. But I think that Canadian tournament fishing should be bigger than it is. I'm not saying that I'm never going to fish tournament series or anything like that again. I really love tournament fishing. I'm going to fish club tournaments this summer because I really enjoy that. But I really hope that we can shine some spotlight on Canadian angling.
And that's a big thing too, because to grow the sport here, to bring some more money here, we need to put more eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We need to grow. So that, and I use this example all the time, and this came from Brandon, that if right now the market is a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut, right? And you got all your slices of Daiwa, Shimano.
There's only
X-Zone.
4 in a personal pan pizza. Don't even make
Wait,
it more.
we're breaking it up. If we just grew that pizza to an extra large and everybody got the same slice, it'd just be a bigger slice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you know, in the past, the fishing is kind of a me sport. But really, it's an us sport.
It should be.
Because we can't, I can't do this alone. Right? There's nobody in Canada who can do this alone. Whether you're a rainbow trout fisherman or a brown trout fisherman, or you live in BC, or if you live in Newfoundland, this is an us deal. If we want to get fishing, hunting, and the outdoors back on track, it's going to take every hunter and every angler and every hiker and everybody to work together to inspire the next generation, like a young Cooper.
Yeah, and I like the way you say
or
that.
a young Danny McGarry.
Yep. I like
Ryan
the way
Clark.
how you say that there, how fishing is an us deal. And like with all these guys that fish these tournament trails in the States, and how last year they all got butthurt because, you know, this guy's going to fish here and this guy's going to fish there. And it actually broke up friendships.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to stay here and fish that. Well, I'm going over here to fish this. That's not cool. And, you know, they got to look at it as an us deal. Okay, hey, you guys are going to stay here. You guys grow this piece of the pie over here. We're going to go here. We're going to grow that piece of the pie because we're still the same pie. Right? That's the most important part.
100%. We're all in this together. If we're going to grow this, we're never going to have the Bassmaster Classic, but we could have the Great Cup.
Sure, we could.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about the Bassmaster Classic,
pumped.
We got that coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, we do.
Freaking
right?
out, man.
We're 47 days or 46 days away from leaving.
Ooh.
Shout out to Asian on location.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so let's talk about I didn't know Rich at all. I knew Rich, I knew who Rich was. You remember this? We went shopping.
Yeah.
I went to high school with Rich.
He's one of my most favorite people in all of Canadian fishing. He calls me at least once every 2 weeks to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
What an amazing guy.
Yeah,
and we went. I didn't really know Rich. Rich stayed with us last year at the Bassmaster Classic, and we went shopping at the mall. Remember that?
Yep.
Like
And
grocery
what
shopping
a
or
beauty of a
clothes?
man he is.
Yeah.
He calls me at least once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It just to talk. Do you know how odd it is in 2020 for people to call you and just have a conversation?
It seems odd, but 15 years ago it wasn't odd.
No. Not at all. I love when I say, it says on my phone, Asian on location.
It does. Yeah.
It does. And he just calls to shoot the shit.
He had a pretty good comment actually earlier when this was hanging on. He's like, "Why is there only one?" Because they only gave me one.
You guys
That's why.
are flying down. You and I are going to drive with Rich, possibly Kyle.
I really hope Kyle comes, but I really enjoy the idea of having the back seat to myself. Sorry, I'm just.
That's
saying,
pretty
I'm just being
selfish.
selfish.
That sounds more like a me story than an us.
It is. Once in a while, I get those stories.
I can't wait to go to the Classic. I can't wait to go to Alabama. Do you know what one of the big things about going to the Classic is the history of the southern United States? They run these Classics in the wintertime. It's always in the southern states. We've got to see a lot of cool things outside of
cool
the fish.
places. Yeah.
Cool places.
Yep.
We may catch a fish.
I was going to say, are we going to catch a fish this
We're bringing rods.
You're going to have to bring ours.
We're yet to catch a fish on one of these pond trips.
I know, eh? Well, Lisa caught one. She caught a trout or something last year.
She got a smallmouth.
And a smallmouth.
What is it? Where
Oh,
were we?
Marley
Pigeon
got
Forge.
a trout at Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
They don't count.
No.
No, it wasn't on the vlog. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Those are rumors.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
What's your favorite
One
part
event-
about the classic?
The food. I love going down and eating
Sonic.
in the States.
Oh.
I
Oh
just
my
love
God,
it.
Sonic is.
I
Do you remember what state were we in when we watched the final day when Christy should have thrown the Senko to catch that fish? He would have won the classic. When we were at
That's
Sonic.
Texas?
I feel like it was Greensville.
Yes, South Carolina. For
Yeah,
sure.
And we
that's
were
what-
all just shoving our
that-
faces full of corn.
That's
dogs.
where we all got half naked in the parking lot when we got there, no?
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
Was that
it was.
Greensville?
That was Greenville, yeah.
Yeah.
At the rent-a-car, or the Hertz
Yeah, it was.
rent-a-car or whatever.
Yeah.
We had the B&B in the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
People are just looking at. We got down there. We're still in our winter clothes. We get down there. It's kind of warm. We want to go right to the expo. We don't have a place to stay yet. We haven't checked in, so we.
Yeah, we had to drop off Jeff, no? At the rent-a-car?
Dave.
Was it Dave?
Dave.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Dave
Dave.
Richard. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Dropped off Dave to pick up his
Shout out to
rent-a-car.
Dave.
Yeah.
And we all got out in the parking lot. We had Italian showers. We
Yeah.
changed. And then we went across the street to the expo.
Yep.
That's
was
my
great,
favorite part. My favorite part's the expo. You know, if you haven't been to a Bassmaster Classic Expo, you haven't been to a fishing
If you
show.
haven't, you've never seen anything like this.
No,
anyway.
no. It'll blow
The
your mind.
other thing is, if you like, it's not too late for people to go, and it is incredibly cheap.
Yeah, very.
It is.
If you
Yeah.
found 4 of your buddies in a car and drove down there, an Airbnb is not that much. Sean's got
Gas is like next
as
to
soon as you get
nothing.
across the border. Don't stop in New York at the McDonald's because
No,
that'll rape you.
that is the
World's most
worst
expensive.
McDonald's
It'll be
ever.
$92 American for a Big Mac.
It's
And their
McDonald's. It's
excuse?
in the middle.
Yeah, their excuse was, "Oh, it's our location." You're right on the highway. How easier
But-
could it be?
And they could come from both sides.
If you are on the
Terrible.
fence, there is no better thing in the whole world. You'll meet every angler you could possibly ever think of. The food is amazing, but it's cheap. Like the classic trip isn't.
Expo's free, weigh-ins free. So basically, you got to sleep somewhere and you got to eat.
Okay, and then,
If you're at home, you still got to eat. So basically, you just got to sleep.
And the
Yeah.
baits are cheap.
so
and if you get all these people that get together and split, it's even cheaper.
well, that's what I was just about to say. Our hotel room for the 4 of us cost us $339 Canadian for 4 nights.
What?
Yeah, that's that's
So
I
$100
didn't
bucks
know
each.
that. Wow.
yeah,
bucks
yeah.
each for
Done.
4 nights.
Done.
That was great.
Done. Not
deal,
even.
Sean.
Yeah. Our flight down there, we're what, $200 down there.
$202, I
I know
think it was.
people that got returns for $300. We only got one ways because we're flying out to Florida afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But it's an extremely cheap trip.
It's not
if you put
when
into
you
it.
when you get there, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like
Everything's free.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend any. You'll go down there and you'll save so much money on baits on the final day of the show.
Oh yeah,
they're, like,
yeah.
trying
Wait to
to
the
get-
last minute.
Yeah. oh,
They're
man.
trying to give stuff away. What like if you want chatterbaits or anything like that,
Plastics,
that's the
man.
time to
We
get
actually
Rod
uh,
tubes. Remember the rod tubes they were throwing out?
We've
Just giving
actually got
everybody?
plans one night with a good buddy of ours, Jeff Tripp. He just messaged us here on Facebook. He says, Sean McCall, Ian West, Mark Hunter, drinks at our Airbnb.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
Make sure you got some iced
yeah.
tea, pal.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not
100%.
going. I guess I'm not going.
Yeah, you're
You're
coming.
Oh.
You're, Tennessee Amber's coming.
I'm going to do 2 vlogs this year. Wow, I'm going to do half the trip and then the other half of the trip.
Yeah.
So I only have to edit once down in the States for that I can have a little more fun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I'll edit the rest of it when we get home.
You can leave them hanging for a day.
I'm going to talk to my my buddy BP and just give him the vlog camera to get the behind the scenes of the final day.
Just give it to Kyle.
No, that'd
Yeah,
cost
Kyle
me too
love
much.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure
Wait,
it would.
you mean I have to do 2 different cameras at the same time?
That's all right.
No.
Who do you think wins the classic? Predictions right now.
Corey Johnston.
I think one of those Johnson boys sure
Stands
you
a
can't
chance.
be counted out.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Wouldn't it? I
So-
already ordered our flags. We got them.
We got a flag downstairs ready to go.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. How cool would it be if one of them win? I would love it if Gussie won. What if one of those Johnson brothers brought the Bassmaster Classic trophy to the Peterborough Tackle Swap and Fishing Show?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Think anybody will complain
That would be next level.
Next level.
Next level.
No pressure.
I think that the city of Peterborough should run a parade.
Yep.
The whole 9 yards.
They
for those
would.
2. I think they should.
Sure they would.
The other big news, and I've been helping Mr. Crothers because people at home don't realize how much work that
What?
gentleman does going into the show season. They're overwhelming popular demand. They're moving from the Morrow building, which is like the back building, to the Memorial Center. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Big difference.
I was in there with Kyle. They're going to cover the ice, and there is a ton of room. It's going to flow amazingly. He must be going to the bathroom.
Yeah, he's got to pee.
Tapped out, eh?
It's
going
like
to be
last show. Last show was a 3-peer.
I actually
For
had
sure.
to. That's the
4
first
hours?
time ever on a podcast that I had to get up and be like, "You guys are in charge."
No, it's not.
No,
is
that's
it?
happened before.
No.
Has it?
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
You guys excited about the tackle swap?
I am.
What if the boys bring the trophy? Would be unreal if they bring it north.
Yeah, for sure.
That would mean they've won. A Canadians won a classic before a blue trophy.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever won a blue trophy.
Nope. Came close. Really close this year. It should have happened on.
I think there's a curse. I think
stop.
I think as soon as one of the 3
Don't
boys,
start it.
I
Don't
think if
start
one
it.
of the 3 boys wins one, it's going to open the floodgates.
Yeah, you think it's just.
I think it's
You gotta
there's
get over
so
that
much
hill and then it's
there's
just
like
boom,
there's
boom,
so
boom.
much pressure, and as cool and calm as the 3 of them are, there's a ton of pressure going into day 4 of one of those events.
I think we will see it.
And
in
competitiveness
2020.
between the 3 of them.
I think in 2020 we will see a blue trophy come home.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I would think that you're pretty hard pressed to not. 3 are going Brandon's way for that I can clean up on the stats this year, and one's going to our Canadian boys.
Yep.
How's that?
Sorry, I just spelled my name in cursive with 3 underlines.
What else do we got up there?
That's awesome. I just got a message here that I could be the DD
Who?
from Real Canadian Lunker Hunter.
No, there's no fun in Amber being
No,
a DD.
no,
I'm
no,
offended.
Right now.
I don't drink,
Let's-
so I'm the DD everywhere.
Yeah, Mark
That's what
doesn't
I
You
do.
drink.
can drive my truck.
That's how much
That's
fun
what I
Mark
do.
is.
Which
don't
of
need booze
Ambers?
to be
Houston
fun.
Amber, South Carolina Amber, Tennessee Amber has been the most fun Amber?
South Carolina Amber.
You really lit it up.
I didn't remember it, so I can't. I think,
Do you remember when we called Brian the Carpenter on the way home?
yeah.
For he could recap the night?
Yeah.
Yeah, South
Yeah.
Carolina Amber for sure. I woke up in the driveway. I know that South Carolina
yeah.
Amber.
Yeah, you
was,
remember that?
right there? Yeah, that was good times.
How about Alabama Amber?
We'll have to see. Hopefully the tequila's good.
They probably got moonshine.
You think
in
that-
Alabama, don't they?
No
I've
moonshine.
been trying to find out. I don't
Margaritas.
know that there's going to be an Ike Live party this year.
No.
I've been trying to get it out of Brian that they're going to the classic, like the Ike Live show, I believe. And I was like,
And
you gotta
Bash
have- you gotta
University.
you gotta have a party. Like you gotta have a party.
It's part of the classic.
It's part of the class.
It's a tradition.
It is a tradition.
It went crazy last year. They weren't expecting that at all.
I thought South Carolina Ike party
I don't
was
feel
way
like they were
better than-
expecting us.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much last year.
No,
it
it was more of a formal event.
Well, what it was the service.
It was tough to get drinks.
It was the service. The service wasn't.
There was no food.
And it was more spread out.
And really
You know
hard
what I
to-
mean? It was like really spread
It was
out
very
and
a formal event.
Yeah, in the lobby and different like private rooms and in the bar area.
Mm-hmm.
Like South Carolina was all in that one bar.
Well,
was,
right?
But last year was at the hotel where
Yeah.
all of the anglers stayed.
Yeah.
So I like to have those private rooms for those guys that they didn't want that to have the crowd, but they still wanted to hang out with some of their angling buddies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It was a classic. They wanted to have a few drinks and not be bothered by the, the general public and the fans and stuff. And I totally get that. I understand that. I feel that I would probably feel the same way sometimes, right? But when we went to the bar and we had to stand there and wait, like they only had 2 bartenders on.
I don't think they were
There had to
prepared
be-
for the party.
There had to
No,
be
they weren't.
800 people there.
I
bartender
walked by
said-
Grohl and I was like, "Hey, the beer service is slow here," and he was like, "I got a 12-pack that McCall brought, and you want 6?" And I was like, "Yep."
There you go.
Well,
He's
yeah,
a
if you're-
beauty.
If
eh?
you're there and you get a chance to order once, and
went
order
hard.
for a couple.
I've never
hours.
been to a bar in Canada where you could order a 6-pack of open beer, and they gave you the pack, like the Corona.
They opened them all. though,
They do
right?
that
Yeah, but
in
they-
Alberta.
Do they?
Go to Alberta.
I got
You go by the buckets here and that. So what's the difference?
well, I got like a Corona 6-pack with all the lids popped off.
Yeah. I just got the 6-packs and took them over to the table.
Not even on ice.
No,
they weren't going to last that long.
Yeah.
Buddy, they couldn't even serve cold beer. They were so sold out of beer. They were bringing beer, and it was wild.
It is. If you are on the fence, go.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Yes.
you, you'll be like
Definitely
us,
go.
and it won't even matter where it is or how
What's
long
the
it takes.
food? We need to know what kind of food.
Yeah, if anybody's from Alabama and there's
Yeah.
a restaurant we got to go to,
That's
please
a good
let us
tip.
know.
Yeah.
In
Please let us
Birmingham.
know. In Birmingham.
In Birmingham.
Or
There's
just
a lot of history.
outside,
I'm
even a
excited
little
about
bit.
the history too.
Me too. We should see if we could find like some sort, because we're there for quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I would like to
Museum or
visit some
something.
stuff. When we went to what is that place?
Pigeon Forge.
Amazing.
Yeah, it
that was a
was
good
fun.
day.
We went back as a family to Pigeon Forge over Christmas because we thought it was such a cool place.
Yeah.
And it is a really cool place. They really do it up at Christmas time too. So
Cool.
if you need somewhere to go,
Okay, we'll need to find something to do then.
Tennessee.
Yeah, we will. Is there any more questions, comments before we wrap this up?
No.
No.
Oh, Real
Do you
Canadian
all-
Lunker Hunter
I got
said,
one from Jeremy
if you don't
Conkright.
remember, it didn't happen.
I got one on Facebook from Jeremy Conkright. Do you all think with all the hammers on the Bass Opens, they should go live on the final day of the event? 100%.
I do too.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Why? I don't know why they're not doing that.
Oh.
The top 10 at last week's event was pretty.
The top 10 was stacked. Like you got the guy that won brand new. I'm not too familiar with him, but in fourth we had Keith Carson.
Yep.
Keith Carson, I got to marshal with John Cox at the Pan American. And then you got then he was in fourth, Scott Martin in fifth, G-Man in seventh. Just outside of the top 10 was Patrick Walters in 11th, and then you got Jason Christie in 13th.
Hammers.
Right?
Think Christie's trying to requalify?
Well,
Well, he's there, I would
you got
You
so
don't
many
know.
guys fishing.
The
You know?
other thing, but Bobby Lane was in the field, and my impressions of last year, he wants no part of ever going back to Bass.
Buddy, Chris Groh, Chad Pipkins, Brian Latimer, Carl Jacobson, the McMillan brothers, Brandon Cobb, BP's fishing it.
Yep.
Scott Canterbury, Angler of the Year last year. Like it is a loaded.
It is
field.
loaded.
Oh, it hurts to cough. Oh.
Poor
Oh, poor Mark.
I blew my back out shoveling
yeah.
snow, and
Snow
my
gotcha.
goodness.
Final thought, Mark?
We're doing that already?
Oh,
Yeah.
I got.
Oh, you got something?
Yeah, Amber's got something.
There's a buddy bar in Atlantic City. You bring your own beer in and pay for a bucket of ice to keep it cold.
How much is the ice?
Yeah.
$70.
$30.
Yeah, $30.
And it holds 2 beer.
Final thought?
Final thought. Just be careful on the ice, guys. I don't think it's quite ready on a lot of lakes yet. Use your head. I don't know if anybody saw Mercer's video.
Yeah, snowmobile.
Two in 24 hours went through in front
Terrible.
of his place. Nobody
That's
was
God
hurt.
just thinning them out.
But yeah, I know. But be careful, guys. That's another reason we haven't been out yet.
Amber?
Oh,
What's that?
I don't have one.
Love your pointer.
Yeah, she's sweet.
She is sweet. She's absolutely
Patience.
nuts, but
Patience.
she's pretty sweet.
Ooh, I know one.
What?
If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Aw.
Oh, that's like
That was probably Woody.
Sorry, Woody.
Read that off his notepad. Give her a go. You got something?
I wasn't ready for a final thought yet. I was ready for another drink.
Well, we can
Okay,
make,
here's
we'll
my
make you
final
one.
thought. If you don't think your friends have enough for you to drink, bring your own.
There you go. All right, that's solid advice.
I'm heading to St. Louis this week. So
Yeah.
if anybody is out there in St. Louis, we'll be there for the NHL All-Star game.
That'll be fun,
so,
man.
So yeah, drop by, say hello.
That's your final thought?
That is.
You playing in that?
Dude, you usually have like the most
I took
epic,
it.
like,
I live by your final thought.
yeah.
I thought you guys cut final thought, so I wasn't prepared.
Oh,
Really?
Burn.
My final thought of the night is thank you, Brandon and Tiffany, for partaking in this absolute crazy show. And everybody out there, live your best life. Whatever it is. Just, you know what? If it makes you smile, do it. If it makes you upset, try to do it less. And get yourself a pointer.
Eat the cake.
Eat the cake. Big shout out for Joan Hunter to listen to this whole mess.
Half of it. She doesn't have any
She
headphones.
even watched it.
We'll see you in 2 weeks with Dave and Matt. That'll be one you don't want to miss.
No.
washed away. See that you might be confused, but I am not afraid of being you. For your greedy ways, a few hundred years, my soul was there, and now I'm here. Don't mean that I don't care. Some ain't sincere, some are fair, but when the power's clear, integrity is rare. But I ain't gonna sit cope with the facts and lay down with no hope. Relax and enjoy to the max what you got where you at while they climb on a thin rope. Well, what they try to do is sedate us, teach us how to hate and separate us. Never really wanna tell it straight, just pretending what is great while they try to recreate us. My soul, my heart, you stole with the lies that you told.